Manchester City and Leicester City. Of course, we'll keep you updated with events in Qatar between Liverpool and Flamengo in the World Cup Championship. But this is a big Premier League game, so let me just king you up to date with the two sides in a second or two. Let's give you that ball's out of play. 30 seconds got it's 0-0. Let me give you the two teams. These are second and third, by the way. City in third, Leicester in second, of course. Let me give you the two teams. Ederson in goal for Manchester City. Then it's Walker, Otamendi, Fernandinho and Mendy. Then it's De Bruyne, Gundogan, Silva and Mahrez with Jesus and Sterling up front. Further forward. Let's look at Leicester's 11 quickly. Schmeichel, Pereira, Evans, Sonchu, the Turkish defender, Chilwell, Ndidi, Pires, Tielemans, Maddison, Barnes and Vardy. On the bench for Manchester City, we've got Bravo, Aguero back from injury, Zinchenko, Rodri, Cancelo, Foden and Garcia. For Leicester, Danny Ward, James Justin, Wes Morgan, Damari Gray, O'Brighton, Iheanacho and Praye. Well, as I said, we'll keep you abreast with what's going on elsewhere in the other game taking place way over in Qatar. That's a 5:30 kick-off, the World Cup Championship between Liverpool and Flamengo as well. And just some sad news in from as the ball's headed in there, but it's 2 minutes got it's 0-0. We'll keep you abreast of what's happening there. 17 Premier League meetings, City 8 wins, Leicester 6, 2 draws. Some sad news to bring you tonight. Martin Peters, one of the 66 World Cup heroes, has died, aged 76. Here's Bernardo Silva into the penalty area. Sonchu got a little touch on that. City have got possession early doors. Leicester were brilliant for 70 minutes on Wednesday night when we covered them at Everton in the League Cup's quarter-final. But they were a bit dire towards the end and allowed Everton back in it. Mind you, Everton scored 2 wonder goals and Leicester snuck through in a penalty shootout. As Sterling takes it up on the right-hand side, or left-hand side for Manchester City. But Martin Peters has died, aged 76. The World Cup winner from 1966 has passed away. So that's real sad news coming out of that. As the early shot comes in, it was hit from 25 yards out. It might have been Gundogan who hit the shot in the end. It was well worked there. Mahrez playing the ball in. Ball came out. Might have actually been Bernardo Silva, in fact, who shot in the end. But these two teams high up in the spectrum. I didn't expect Leicester to be right up there this season with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and challenging for the title. Although Leicester have really played with a lot more freedom. And of course, Brendan Rodgers signing that new deal, which will keep him at the club now for another 4 years. Of course, brought through Raheem Sterling through the system at Liverpool, gave him his opportunity. And boy, Sterling not looked back since. 3.5 minutes gone then at the Etihad Stadium here. It's Manchester City 0, Leicester City 0 in the Premier League. It's 0-0 between Liverpool and Flamengo. But any goals that go in, we'll let you know, Liverpool fans. So the tune now for Leicester, midway inside his own half, goes back to Kasper Schmeichel, who couldn't be blamed for any of the goals that went past him on Wednesday night at Goodison Park. Just to remind you elsewhere, if you've joined us late in the Premier League, there were wins for Burnley, Newcastle, Sheffield United. Another big win for Chris Wilder's men. It's been some season so far for Sheffield United. As we're going to the 5th minute of the first half. You're missing nothing at the moment. As we go into 5 minutes of the first half, 0-0. Is this for today's match? Of course it's for today's match. We're live. Have a look at the titles. Don't ask silly questions like that. It is... I'm not being funny, but... I mean, look at the title. Live audio stream. Live audio stream. That should be a good clue. Anyway, here's Otamendi now for Manchester City. In towards Gundogan. Just to remind you, keep your comments clean and keep your questions about the football and not about me or... how this match is being streamed, because it's all about the football on this channel, because people enjoy what we do. Sterling towards the byline, good tracking back there as well. And just to remind anybody who's not familiar with us, we do give the score out every 2 to 3 minutes, because it's a radio broadcast style broadcast. We do tend to keep the score out. That's a rule of mine, a little rule of mine, but we'll keep you abreast of what's happening over in Qatar as well. Liverpool 0, Flamengo Brazil 0 in the Club World Cup. Any goals that go in there, we will let you know. 6 minutes gone. It's Mahrez on the ball now for Manchester City. Up against his holding players. Plays it infield to De Bruyne, but well kept out by Maddison, who put in a real effort against Everton the other day in the Carabao quarter-final. And the draw for that was made. And just to remind you, if you haven't known already, it's Leicester against... it's Bella and Leicester against each other in one semi, and then it's the two Manchester clubs. What a compelling two legs that's going to be between Manchester City and Manchester United in the Carabao semis. Our last live commentary before Christmas, and I just want to say before we carry on with the commentary, I wish everybody who's listening in today and all the subscribers and everyone else, there's a Christmas message that you can also watch back as well at your leisure time, showing what we might have coming up as well in the next 12 months. Plenty to look forward to. There'll be different sports as well being covered as regards audio commentary, like cricket and Formula 1 next summer, as well as the European Championships. We're going to be covering T20 extensively next summer as well. And yes, Martin Peters, the shock news that Martin Peters died earlier today, aged 76. And needless to say, our thoughts, myself and everyone's thoughts, are with Martin Peters' family at this sad, horrible time. Sometimes it's what a day. If we could do Martin Peters proud with a terrific result, a terrific game of the football here at the Etihad, and Liverpool winning over in the Club World Cup. There's Pep Guardiola, such a charismatic manager. Hasn't had his best season at Manchester City. Mind you, the way Liverpool have gone about things this season, it's hardly surprising. They were due to play West Ham away this afternoon, but obviously they're out in Qatar for this World Cup Championship. Liverpool looking to win their third trophy of the calendar year, having won the European Cup in May and won the European Super Cup against Chelsea in a dramatic penalty shootout in August. Of course, they'll be fighting on another 3 fronts next year. The Champions League, when the knockout rounds reconvene in February. The FA Cup, which starts in just a couple of weeks' time. In fact, on the 3rd of January, we start our coverage on the 3rd or 4th. I think we start our coverage on the 4th. Well, some tasty tires for you, including Panini's team Gillingham against West Ham. Hopefully we'll have Chris Whiteman in the commentary box and for that one. And here's a chance now for Maddison. Cross comes in from the right hand side, turned away. Now Mendy can bring it away down the far side for Manchester City. Ball in towards De Bruyne inside the centre circle. Handballs over halfway. Indeed, the defender. Sterling into the area. Away from Evans. Raheem Sterling. It just got underneath his feet a little bit there. And that was a real opportunity there for City. Just couldn't get it out from under his feet there, Raheem Sterling. Missed out in the BBC Sports Personality of the Year to Ben Stokes a week ago. As we come up towards 10 minutes ago. Live commentary on the Premier League on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Sterling far side, turned away by Johnny Evans, and it's 3/4 of the way up the park. Again, good football again. 10-0. It's gone in the Club World Cup final as well over in Qatar. The latest score we've got for you is 0-0. Earlier today there were wins. Let me just check what's been happening in the world of football today. Leg injury. David Silva. The reason David Silva isn't playing today is a leg injury, and he wasn't deemed fit enough to start tonight's match. 10 minutes gone, 0-0 incidentally if you just joined us late. Results early today in the lunchtime kick-off as Leicester win a 3-kick. Everton 0, Arsenal 0. A really forgettable game at Goodison Park, to be honest. A coupon buster. Aston Villa 1, Southampton 3. And Burnley winning at Bournemouth. That's a great result for us, although it was a very touchy game observing it. Sheffield United's great season continues. They have beaten the Brighton and Hove Albion by a goal to 0. Newcastle have edged out Crystal Palace up at St James's by a goal to 0, and they're still on a good run, so it looks as if they bounced back in the best possible way to defeat at Burnley last week. And Wolves coming from behind to beat Norwich City, who are in a little bit of trouble at the moment at the wrong end of the table. And of course, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1, Hamilton Academicals 2, Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 1, Livingston 4, Ross County 0, and St Johnstone 0, St Mirren 0 was the final scores in the Scottish Premier League. Monterey and Hayal had drawn 2-2 in the fair place competition in the Club World Cup, and at the moment it's 0-0. 0-0. I think, to be fair, I think it'll be last on match of the day now, that Arsenal-Everton game, Panini. Although Burnley-Bournemouth ran it a little bit close earlier today. Here's Kevin De Bruyne now, midway inside his own half for Manchester City. Finds Riyad Mahrez against his own club. Runs, shoots, and it hits Soyuncu on the chest, I think. He had his arms down by his side. Walker will reload from the right-hand side into the penalty area. High ball into the penalty area. High cross, I should say. Mendy has it now on the left-hand side for City. And it's City at the moment going for the cutthroat here against the second-place side. It's third against second here. As Manchester City are knocking on the door. Shot comes in from outside the area. A couple of deflections. It will bounce here kindly for Gabriel Jesus. Welcome start for Manchester City fans to see Sergio Aguero on the bench. We'll bring you all the full times from the Championship. There's a Championship game, I think, going on as well at the moment. I don't think there is. These are all the finals. I'll bring you all the full times from the Championship a bit later on. It's Mahrez with the corner, just on the corner quadrant. So that ball is just about on the quadrant as that corner comes in towards the 6-yard area. Well defended by Leicester. Comes to Sterling with 12 minutes gone. 0-0 is the score here. He joined us late. Sergio Aguero, the big team news. David Silva not in the 18 because of a leg injury. And Sergio Aguero is on the bench. And Yuri Telemans and Harvey Barnes starting for Leicester City. This is De Bruyne shoots from. Oh, he's hit the outside of the post with his right foot. Over 20 yards just to the right of the D. I think Schmeichel might have had it covered, but a little warning sign there for Leicester City that Manchester City are actually in the mood, if you pardon the pun. Good effort there with De Bruyne. Hits it beautifully with the side of his right foot. Schmeichel beaten, but off the outside of the post, and almost giving the ball straight to De Bruyne inside the penalty area. And Maddison wants a free kick. It's gone the other way. Manchester City ball. Mike Dean, the referee, incidentally, from the Rail, was in charge. And the VAR referees from Birmingham. That's Andre Marina. Well, you know you're going to get fireworks when Mike Dean's in charge. Anyway, it's Mahrez and De Bruyne to take the free kick. Right-hand side, deep inside Leicester territory. Just 5 yards in from the touchline. Going to be left with De Bruyne to play it in right-footed. De Bruyne into the penalty area it goes. Soyuncu with a header away. It will come for Raheem Sterling on the far side. Raheem Sterling takes on his man, which is by Jose Perez, the former Newcastle man. Mal Gundogan has it back to Mendy on the left-hand side. Mendy just controls it about and plays the ball back across, and it's now left Mahrez to run at his defender. This is Ben Chilwell. Mahrez up against Chilwell. Did well there, Mahrez. Oh, good control by Mahrez. And he gets his shot off. Just takes a little deflection there off the left-footed shot there off Ben Chilwell. And it deflects kindly into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel. And it's a goal kick. Let's just see what's been happening elsewhere. In the Club World Cup, it's Liverpool 0, Flamengo 0. Liverpool could be champions of the world come quarter to 8 this evening. Any goals that go in will let you know. But at the moment it looks as if Liverpool look as if they're on top in that game. 0-0. As Bernardo Silva just plays a little bit of skill factor there on the ball. Keeps it going. Now here's the number 8, Gundogan. Goes backwards. Has to go back, and then the ball ushers back to the goalkeeper, Edison, who's been practically redundant. He's been virtually a spectator with his first quarter of an hour. 5 shots to 0 in Manchester City's favour, and they've had that one on target, of course, and they've hit the outside of the post too. Leicester not offered much so far in the match. And it's all Manchester City at the moment in this opening quarter of an hour, but still goalless. And here comes Mendy now. Here's Otamendi to get the ball out towards the far side. He'll frame to look for Mahrez, and Mahrez is taking it down beautifully on the right hand side. Gets towards the byline. It's Riyad Mahrez into the byline. He'll have to pull it back across the 6-yard area. Good save, and he just had knocked it goalwards with his right foot, a toe poke with his right foot, and Schmeichel stuck out a big hand and sent in, and then Jesus on the follow-up from the crossing from the left-hand side. Well covered by Kasper Schmeichel, but it's only a knot at a time, I think, before Manchester City break through. They're looking at their lean, mean and best like they were last season. Really cooking tonight. Comes off the left ankle, in fact. Hard to see from the naked eye, and then the cross comes in from the far side. It was Mendy's cross, and then Jesus had a second attempt, but as I say, straight at Schmeichel that time. Premier League goals this season. Manchester City have scored 47 goals. That's the most in the league. And Leicester City have only conceded 11. That's in fact the fewest amount of goals conceded by a Premier League team this season. So you've got the highest scorers in the division against the meanest defence in the division. So it's a battle of contrasting styles here tonight. Here's Sterling now on the far side, the left-hand side. He'll run it to his defender again. Pereira, Mendy on the overlap. Pereira gets back at him. Good tackle there. It's a throw-in to Manchester City, and the temperature here in the Etihad is absolutely being cranked up to maximum volume here. Nil-nil is the score. You can actually hear the crowd noise in the background, as you could hear. And the Etihad fans are really up for this one. This is Fernandinho, the City captain. Then Otamendi gets the ball forward. Again, lovely approach play again. Raheem Sterling takes it 15-20 yards inside the half. Then Gundogan. And again, Mahrez having a lot of joy on that right-hand side. He's having a marvellous game. Mahrez into the penalty area. Tries to hook the ball back from the right-hand side. And then indeed he gets back there for Leicester. And then Jose Perez goes down. Referee's happy to play on, and Vardy's onside. He's on his own, mind you, against Fernandinho and Otamendi, but he's got support arriving here as well with Harvey Barnes, and the crossing from the right for Vardy, and it only needed a touch from Harvey Barnes, and that was 1-0. Game becoming a little bit stretched. There's a player down injured, and the City players don't like it. It's Jose Perez, I think, who's down on the floor there. Nothing wrong with the challenge. 20 minutes gone in the World Cup Championship. An update, 0-0 between Liverpool and Flamengo. 0-0 here with about 19 minutes gone in the first half. Earlier today, Everton 0, Arsenal 0 in a forgettable game. And it's Aston Villa 1, Southampton 3. Brighton 0, Sheffield United 1. Bournemouth 0, Burnley 1. Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 0. Norwich 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. And those were all full-time results. Terrific result as well for Sheffield United away at Brighton. That was a really good shot, really good at the moment. There were a lot of people's whipping boys, including my own. When I made my own predictions back on this YouTube channel back in August, I predicted them to finish very much bottom. But Chris Wilder's instilled a really good spirit and a really good team ethic at Sheffield United, and he's done really well. Anyway, 20 minutes exactly gone here at the Etihad Stadium, and it's 0-0. Now we've had the Jose Perez is back on the field, and he's okay, up and about again. Just a little bit of the old magic sponge treatment, and that's all it needs sometimes. Just to remind you, keep your comments clean and keep your comments respectful. On ball forward, but well cut out by Chilwell. And, Chilwell and Schmeichel in a bit of a tangle there, and it hit. I think it hit Gabriel Jesus, but it's bounced to Madison, who tries to play a ball towards Vardy. Jose Perez was also over on the far side there, but Kasper Schmeichel, the Leicester City captain, playing chicken out on the edge of his own 6-yard area. And here goes Johnny Evans, being pushed a little bit there by Jesus. City were poor in the last time we covered them at the Etihad with that 2-1 defeat against Manchester United. Here's Vardy, he's away from Fernandinho. It's Jamie Vardy for Leicester. He checks the ball over the keeper and scores for Leicester City. Jamie Vardy has silenced the Etihad Stadium. He went down the left-hand side, ambled into the penalty area, and then he flicked it with his left foot over the goalkeeper Edison's head and into the right-hand corner of the net. No doubt he was onside. VAR will have checked it anyway. But what a dead finish that was into the bottom corner, and Leicester, really, let's be fair, have been on the defensive for the first 20 minutes. They break down the other end, and who else? Jamie Vardy has made the breakthrough, and problems afoot for Manchester City. It's Manchester City 0, Leicester City 1 with 22 minutes of the first half played. Well, if that was the tactic from Brendan Rodgers, then it's worked in absolute treat. It's his 17th goal in the season. 17 goals this season in the Premier League, and well, he is an ace goal poacher. Even at 33 years old, he knows where the back of the net is all right. You know what they say about goal scorers: once a goal scorer, always a goal scorer. The City players and supporters nodding their heads, cannot believe what's happened to them. But for those Leicester City fans looking to travel to the Etihad tonight, they are in crowd dreamland here. They can't believe what they're seeing. Here's Walker's lost possession, and it's back-heeled out of play for a throw into Leicester. 0-0 incidentally, with 23 gone in the World Cup final between Liverpool and Flamengo. Flamengo of Brazil. Any goals that go in, we'll let you know. Just to remind you, wins for Leicester, wins for Newcastle, wins for Burnley, wins for Sheffield United, wins for Wolves, and Southampton at Aston Villa. Earlier today, 0-0 as well in that forgettable lunchtime kick-off between Everton and Arsenal. There was a few moments of discontent in the Arsenal fan base when Robbie Lyle was subjected to some abuse there for several Arsenal fans. You know who I'm talking about, Robbie Lyle, the man who founded of Arsenal Fan TV. As we see there, a little bit of an accidental collision there, although Madison's foot was a bit high there, and I think it might have been Jesus, I think, was it? Yes, it was Jesus. Well, we've got 24 minutes going here. It's been an amazing opportunity now for Leicester now to hold on in there. They've got a good lead there, Vardy with the goal. And I have to say, Mike Dean, for once, I have to agree with Panini on that one, has had a perfect game. Panini's also our VAR man for this season as well. He's got to get back on that duty as well. And he'll clear up any VAR decisions he'll clear up any VAR decisions he thinks are right or wrong. Here come the City corner. It's towards the near post, headed away by Leicester. They've really been good defensively, Leicester. Well organised. Oh, it's Jesus! Oh, he snicked it round back and Chilwell there. And Sterling, in fact, got the shot off. Not Jesus, as I thought, but Sterling got a right-footed shot off. He ghosted in behind Ben Chilwell there. And in fact, I think he might have been onside as well. And Kasper Schmeichel in the end having to make a save. And there's a corner. Mahrez to take. He's had a lot of joy on that right-hand side. Mahrez into the penalty area. A little bit of confusion inside the 6-yard area, but Leicester City again competently deal with it. 25 gone at the Etihad. Commentary on Manchester City 0, Leicester City 1 in the Premier League if you just joined us. Latest from Qatar. It's Liverpool 0, Flamengo 0 in the World Club Championships. We'll keep you updated if any goals go in. Liverpool looking to be world champions for the first time ever. I don't think any English team has won the World Club Championships before, but I'm sure someone has along the way. Drop us a postcard if you know of any English team that won it. I think Manchester United may have won it one year. I'm not quite sure, but if they have, I can't remember them winning it. But if anyone knows any English teams that have won this FIFA Club World Cup, let me know in the comment section. I might stand corrected, but I'm sure no English team has ever won it. But whatever, it's a piece of history for Liverpool to try and come across here today. 0-0 in Qatar, 1-0 to Leicester here in the commentary game. From the Premier League, Leicester lying second, City lying third at start of play. And here comes Mahrez across the face of the goal and out of play for a goal kick. Just to go back, yeah, Manchester United did. I thought they might have won it at some point, but I just didn't know if they had or not, and that's why I thought I'd better ask. So Manchester United have won the Club World Championships before. Well, we're just cooing at that brilliant chip over the top of the goalkeeper there by Jamie Vardy. He may be 32, 33 years old, but the man is a goal-scoring genius. Well, they've had the one shot at goal and it's counted. City have had 4 shots on target and City have had the one, or Leicester City have had the one and have scored from it. Here's Kyle Walker from Manchester City, right hand side inside the Leicester half. Darted towards the edge of the Leicester penalty box, and now Vardy on the shoulder again. It's Jamie Vardy down the left hand side. Now then, will he go past the defender? He will. It's Jamie Vardy who couldn't score again. Oh, he went left footed it again. Over the top. Oh my goodness me, Vardy's having a lot of joy down that left-hand side for Leicester. Again, it's the sort of football we saw from Leicester 3 years ago under Ranieri. The tactics, that is, that won him the league. What an opportunity there for Jamie Vardy. They should be 2-0 up. Luke Curtin, good evening to you, mate, and good to see you enjoying yourself with your dad, and nice to see you enjoying yourself. I'll watch along later if it's a video with your dad later on. Meanwhile, here comes De Bruyne. Good tackle. Terrific tackle there. One thing you can't fault Leicester is their organisation. I have to say, even though Everton came back strong in that quarter-final the other night and ultimately lost on penalties, and we all gave them an hero's welcome at the end of it all, what we can't ignore is that Leicester City were, for 70 minutes, absolutely brilliant. And you can't ignore that. This is Kyle Walker now for Manchester City. Finds De Bruyne out on the left. Back in field again to Kyle Walker. He's just taking a more central position. Now Gundogan. Gundogan now has got Bernardo Silva on the left. And then Mendy as well on the overlap. Left-hand side into Sterling inside the penalty area. Left-hand side of the Leicester City penalty area. Now, if Leicester can hang on here and win at the Etihad Stadium, well, it gives their title challenge a shot in the arm, although Liverpool will have a game in hand with West Ham. I think the gap was about 9 points. I don't know if they'll go second or not, but we'll obviously check the tables if City are winning by there. Oh, they almost equalised. But Johnny Evans, the former Manchester United defender, got back there and hooked it out for a corner as Gabriel Jesus came closing in there. Very good defending from Johnny Evans. Masses of experience. City have their fourth corner. Mahrez, who's been probably City's best player so far, whips it into the penalty area. Well dealt with again by the two centre-backs, Soyuncu and Evans. They both had terrific 29 minutes. Well, they've had terrific half hours so far. We're coming towards that half-hour mark. Here's Mahrez, edge of the area. Mahrez shoots, deflection and in! Riyad Mahrez shoots! and puts Manchester City back on terms against his old club. He understandably doesn't celebrate, but City are back on terms. It's 1-1. The left-footed effort there. Gets it down on the right-hand side. Twists Ben Chilwell lean inside and out. Left foot shot. It deflects off Soichu and into the back of the net. And it's 1-1 in a real fra here at the Etihad Stadium. And we've even got crowd noise as well to add to the effects of it. It's a terrific game of football. It's only his fifth goal of the Premier League season, so Vardy and Mahrez have scored, but have scored at opposite ends. 3 years ago, Vardy and Mahrez were scoring goals in the same game for the same team. One of the last 15 minutes of the first half we've got ourselves now. Here's Soichu. Back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel this time doesn't try to hook it away, and then back comes Harvey Barnes to get it away down the left for Leicester, but it's... I think the flag's up anyway for offside, but that's better from Guardiola's men, and he's wanting more from the fans. He's wanting more. Just to remind you that Liverpool are still drawing 0-0 with Flamengo in that World Cup final. That's 31 minutes old as well as this game that we're watching here, and it's a fantastically good watch. City 1, Manchester City 1, Leicester City 1. The battle of the two cities here. This is De Bruyne on the right-hand side into Jesus, back to Walker. Walker, just for a moment, no, he's fouled his man, I think. Ben Chilwell, and a free kick. Free kick to Leicester. Just to remind you, Villa 1, Southampton 3, Brighton 0, Sheffield United 1, Newcastle 1, Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0, Arsenal 0. These are full-time scores. Norwich 1, Wolves 2, and Bournemouth 0, Burnley 1. Burnley up into the top 10. And a good 7 points away from the relegation zone, and they've got Everton and Carlo Ancelotti to come on Boxing Day. David Silva, we just scored a shot off there in the crowd. Ronaldinho skipper in the side. Here's Edison, who's had nothing much to do but has been beaten. 32 minutes gone if you join us late. It's Manchester City 1, Leicester City 1. Vardy scoring first for Leicester, then Mahrez against his old side, firing a deflected left-footed shot into the back of the net from around about 18 yards. One apiece. Good game this. Really enjoyable game. Glad we picked this over the World Cup game, because at the moment we've got 2 goals and plenty of excitement and plenty of action. And Mike Dean's involved. It's never going to be dull. And Mike Dean's penalising one of the Leicester players now, and who's arguing away. It's Pereira who's involved. Mike Dean saying he didn't get the ball and that sort of thing, and making the feelings perfectly known. He's a referee that is a very passionate guy. Never gets many decisions correct in some games, but maybe a questionable choice as manager, as referee for this one. But I tell you what, maybe he's added to the flavour and the way that the game's gone. A great game of football, really enjoying it. As Gundogan tries to get the ball around the corner. This is Gundogan again. Now Sterling doing really well there up against his man Jose Perez. Mendy on the overlap. One apiece. City in possession. This is Walker midway inside the Leicester City half. This is good football there by the Sky Blues of Manchester City. Just to remind you, Leicester in the darker shirts. They're in their change strip of all dark, sort of darkish greyish black, I would suggest. Manchester City, of course, in their famous sky blue shirts with white shorts and white stockings. This is Milan Mahrez into Kevin De Bruyne, who's been pushed to the ground by Soichu. That's going to be a free kick and a yellow card to the Turkish international. And Leicester City have got some defending to do. Soichu now has got to watch his mark there as he brought down Kevin De Bruyne. Accepts the decision from Mike Dean and the yellow card with good grace. And now really defending for Brendan Rodgers' side to do. Liverpool still 0-0 in the World Cup with Flamengo. Any goals that go in that game, we will let you know. What a job Liverpool have to do for English football and for European football tonight. If they can win that World Cup Championship, they join Manchester United as the second English winners of the competition. But meanwhile in the Premier League, Morris hits the free kick left-footed from the right-hand side, just goes past the left-hand post and behind for a Leicester City goal kick with 10 minutes of the first half remaining. It remains Manchester City 1, Leicester City 1. Here's Schmeichel. Right foot kicks it away off the ground, and now the play on the far side. 10 yards from halfway, still inside the Leicester City half, and Leicester City have got 10 yards of it back themselves. I don't think anyone would have blamed City if they tried to go 10 yards further forward. The ball did go out 10 yards from halfway inside the Leicester half, but Man City took it 10 yards inside their own half. Not often a team actually retreats back to take a throw in. It's usually they try and steal 10 yards further forward in a lot of the games. Here's Mendy now on the far side for Manchester City. 9 minutes of the first half remaining. And it's been a great first half to bring you here live on the JB Claret YouTube channel. I've been very impressed by the way that the game's gone. We'll take a couple of minutes break and then we'll try and catch up with what's been happening in the world of the 3 o'clock kickoffs early today and try and dissect that. So we'll be off the air for a couple of minutes and then obviously dissect the news from today, and of course talk a bit about Martin Peters at half time, the World Cup winner, and sadly has died at the age of 76, and our thoughts are with his family. Here's Sterling now midway inside the Leicester City half, finds Riyad Mahrez, who's had a terrific first half, deserves his goal. Into Sterling inside the area. De Bruyne hits the shot, comes off the defender in Ndidi. Breaks for, makes away once again. Been a great first half once again between two sides who really are evenly matched. Tottenham Chelsea, a very big game tomorrow in terms of Champions League places. Frank Lampard, the apprentice, up against the old master Mourinho at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or the new White Hart Lane, as some people will christen it on, because it was built on the side of the former White Hart Lane ground. This is Mendy for Manchester City here at the Etihad. Here's Sterling now, breaking forward, past 3 Leicester defenders, but Johnny Evans got the ball cleanly, says the referee. In fairness to Raheem Sterling, he didn't appeal too much for a potential foul or a free kick or a possible penalty. Would have been hard to say whether that was borderline on the edge of the area. Come on City, it's the cry you could hear in the background. Mendy now for Manchester City. 1 apiece. So, as I said, we'll be paying tribute to Martin Peters as well, and dissecting the 3 o'clock kickoffs and playing some interviews. Hopefully we'll get an interview with Sean Dyche, or a soundbite with Sean Dyche after Burnley's magnificent victory. Ball chipped in there towards Sterling. The flag has stayed down. Sterling knocks the ball back and he knocks it into empty space, and Tielemans can bring the ball away. I've not really said Tielemans' name too much already in this first half, and here's De Bruyne, whose name I've said about 1,000 times, and he doesn't win the corner. It's a goal kick. 0-0 is the latest score over in Qatar in the World Cup final. In the Club World Cup final. 0-0 between Liverpool and Flamengo of Brazil. Here in the Premier League, it's Manchester, the two cities were second and third. Manchester 1, Leicester 1. Good game this. Very enjoyable. Certainly, if you were paying good money to watch this, you would not be disappointed. Free kick against Bernardo Silva. Foul there on Yuri Tielemans there. And that's good to see down on the touchline below me. Pep Guardiola and Brendan Rodgers having a really nice humorous moment there. And in the middle of a tense game, in the middle of so much there, 3 points at stake. Stakes are very high. These are the two closest challengers to Liverpool at the moment at the top of the Premier League table. And they're playing out a real battle at the moment, and it's nice to see a bit of humour from the two bosses being played out in front of me here. 39, nearly 40 minutes of the first half played. Still one apiece. No foul on the halfway line on the far side. Raheem Sterling has won the ball cleanly according to referee Mike Dean. Hits De Bruyne, hits the shot, good save! It was a right-footed shot from central, 25 yards out central. And Schmeichel turned it away, down and away, just fractionally to his right. And Leicester City scrambling it away. But Kevin De Bruyne, who started to come back into a bit of form recently, was at his real best there. Here's RB Barnes, who we haven't seen too much of. He's the son of, in fact, of former Burnley striker Paul Barnes. There's a little bit of trivia for you. So he has got a bit of a Burnley connection. Play on, says the referee. There was a foul there. I think the referee's played a good advantage here because Sterling's inside the area. He goes down. He links around it. Penalty to Manchester City. Leicester and Yuri Tillemans especially are claiming a dive. VAR inevitably will check that, and Panini won't have to be on VAR, because he's our VAR man. Well, now, was this a penalty? Well, it looks a dive to me. I don't know what Panini thinks in our studio, but I think that's a penalty. I don't think that's a penalty, I should say. Well, does he go? I think he looks for it there because he stands on the defender's foot. Now, I'll be amazed if this is a penalty. Mike Dean can only stop and wait. They are checking the penalty here, VAR. And now, what's he giving here? I think he's given the penalty. Well, I find that amazing. Panini reckons it's a dive. I'm inclined to agree. I think that's a controversial decision. Erwan Gundogan, from 4 penalties this season, has scored 4, 2 to the left and 2 to the right. And the end of what's been a really great first half. It's ending controversially here. 3 minutes of the first half left, and Leicester will feel very hard done by anyway. Erwan Gundogan, who's a surefire penalty scorer, scored at Wembley in the European Cup final once upon a time. He shoots right-footed and he scores! And that is cruel justice on Leicester City. I never thought in a month of Sundays that was a City penalty. And I think that as well, but VAR had a different view. Gundogan took it right-footed. Schmeichel dived to his left and almost got a hand to that. And unfortunately, justice has not been done. It's 2-1 to Manchester City over Leicester City. In fairness to City, they've turned this game around, and Schmeichel did get a hand on it. And he was very unlucky, but I think, well, I have to say, maybe it's balancing itself out because City have been the victims of some very questionable VAR decisions this season. But they've had a questionable one go in their favour this afternoon, so I think Pep Guardiola's probably got a little bit of payback as regards that. But I didn't think it was a penalty. I think he stood on the guy's foot there, Raheem Sterling, and I think that was a cutting piece of simulation. And unfortunately, I mean, me and Panini both agree it was well, not a dive as such, but it certainly wasn't a penalty. But Andy, for Andre Mariner to give a penalty, I felt that was a little bit harsh. But it's City 2-1 up. But don't discount Leicester City yet. They have proved so far this season they were victims of a terrible decision at Liverpool, which cost them at least a point at Anfield earlier this season. So they have been the victims of some rank decisions this season. So a free kick. Anderson to send it in. Can they come back? Indeed, he's in there. It won't reach Harvey Barnes to the left of the penalty area. And it's a shame for Leicester because they've really defended perfectly but had the audacity to take the lead through Jamie Vardy. But now they're up against it in a very big way. But I think it's a bit early to start writing Leicester City off the way they've been playing. Meanwhile, in the World Cup Championships, there's still goalless between Liverpool and Flamengo and Brazil. Van Dijk is playing at the moment. Flamengo have had more possession, I'm seeing there. Just reading the stats up there. This is De Bruyne now for Manchester City. We're inside the final 15 seconds of normal time here. 2-1 to Manchester City over Leicester City. Controversial penalty given by VAR official, given originally by Mike Dean, checked by Andre Mariner at Stockley Park in London, and the original decision was stood, and I still can't get my head around that, whether that, well, answers on a postcard as regards that. 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. We're 15 seconds into the first of the two of them. Here's Schumacher with a free kick for Leicester. Well, listeners, what do you think of that penalty decision? If you're sitting on a replay at home, what do you think? Was it a penalty or was it not? Let me know in the comments below, but keep your comments clean. We are a family programme. 2-1 to Manchester City. Controversial moments at the end of the first half. We're to the first of 2 added minutes, for which we're at the end of the first one, and then we've got another one to go, and then it'll be half time. And Leicester will might have to just get in there, lick their wounds, and go again in the second half. We're going to Manchester City. We've got a minute of the 2 left to play. We'll take a 2 to 3 minute break. Get some lubricant into my throat, and then we'll catch up with what's been going on in the other games this afternoon, and obviously carry on then with the second half. It's Kyle Walker now for Manchester City. Goes back again. This is Edison now. Edison kicks away right-footed. Down the line it goes. Down the middle it goes, I should say. Sonichi takes possession. 30 seconds to go in the first half. Pereira. That's surely a foul there against... Well, foul there on Iosi Perez by Mendy. So a 3 kick and a last chance here for Leicester. It's gone. The whistle's just gone over in Qatar in the World Club Championships final. It's Liverpool 0, Flamengo 0. That's half time, so that's the scoreline at the moment. Here it's still play on, and it's a free kick for Leicester. Into the penalty area it goes. Edison straight out. Nice, clean, sensible catch. We've played the 2 minutes, and here goes Riyad Mahrez scoring the equaliser against his old club. A little bit of luck perhaps on that. We're still into time and on at the end of the time and on. This is Tillemans now for Leicester. Left hand side. Now then, chance here now for Harvey Barnes. But he's running to trap it, but indeed he takes over. Edge of the area now. Here's Maddison, who had a masterful game at Everton the other night. Here's Perez. Back to Maddison. Maddison shoots. It's half saved by the goalkeeper. And still Leicester keep it alive, and they've got a corner out of it. And I don't think there's going to be any time to take that corner as the whistle goes for half time. As we see that effort there from James Maddison, and almost squared past the goalkeeper, and Leicester... Well, I think justice would have been done there if it had got level. Vardy tried to have a swing at it. He was being possibly held. But you have to say, a great piece of goalkeeping there by Edison. So, Manchester City lead at half-time, rather controversially. Vardy opening the scoring for Leicester after 22 minutes. Then Mahrez 8 minutes later with the equaliser. Then Gundogan's penalty after 43 has given Leicester City a 2-1 lead. Well, giving Manchester City lead, rather a 2-1 lead at half-time. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back for just to talk about Martin Peters' sad demise, and of course what happened in the Premier League this afternoon, and run through the other scores from early today. But at half time in the World Club Championship, it's Liverpool 0, Flamengo 0, and here in our commentary game it's Manchester City 2, Leicester City 1. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Etihad Stadium, where it's 2-1 to Manchester City in our commentary match, which kicked off at 5:30 between Manchester City and Leicester City. 2-1 there, but there has been some sad news today that Martin Peters has sadly died at the age of 76. Let's give you more on that story. Sad sight to see a world-class player, Peters, go. Of course, Ancelotti was also appointed at Everton. That's another bit of big news. But Martin Peters, the 1966 World Cup winner, has died at the age of 76. A sad loss to English football, this. Martin Peters played for West Ham, played for Tottenham Hotspur and Norwich City towards the end of his playing career. Also had a spell in management as well, Martin Peters. Peters, let's have a quick look back at his career. Peters, he joined West Ham at age 15. He spent 11 years with the club, of course, winning the Cup Winners' Cup and the FA Cup and then the World Cup with England, until he became Britain's first £200,000 player in a move to London neighbour Spurs in 1970. He also scored the equaliser in the 1966 World Cup win over Germany. Jeff Hurst, of course, got the other three. West Ham have paid tribute, saying the 1966 World Cup winner passed peacefully on Saturday after a long, courageous battle with illness. He's now the fifth member of English football's greatest ever team, now sadly lost, along with Alan Ball, Ray Wilson, Gordon Banks and Bobby Moore, his great West Ham academy friend and hero Bobby Moore. His former England teammate Sir Jeff Hurst has said it's a sad day for football and for me personally. He goes on to say that Martin Peters was one of the whole-time greats, a close friend and a colleague of mine in excess of 50 years. A fellow World Cup final goal scorer and my West Ham partner for years, along with Bobby Moore. Rest in peace, old friend. Peters, his honours included a European Cup Winners' Cup with West Ham, as well as the UEFA Cup and 2 League Cups for Spurs. After 5 years at Norwich City, where he spent a bit of time there, he moved to Sheffield United before a season, before retiring in 1981. Martin Peters, who received an MBE in 1978 for his services to football, did actually regularly attend West Ham games as a club ambassador. Peters only ended his England debut by manager Al Francis shortly before the '66 World Cup, and threatening a 2-0 win over Yugoslavia. 2 months later, his goal set to win the final at Wembley, only for West Germany to level with seconds remaining before Jeff Hurst scored a couple more goals to complete his hat-trick in extra time. Ramsey himself said Peters was 10 years ahead of his time. West Ham said Peters, Hurst and Moore were able to ensure immortality for Ramsey's team. The club's joint owners, West Ham's joint owners, the two Davies, Sullivan and Gold, said in many ways, though, Martin's greatest legacy was not the World Cup medal itself, but the example he provides to every young player who walks through the door of our academy. The word legend is used all too freely these days, but Martin Peters was a true legend, a legend of West Ham United, a legend of world football, and his contribution to our club and to our game will never ever be forgotten. Peters in fact won 67 caps for England and made over 700 appearances for West Ham, Tottenham, Sheffield United and Norwich throughout his long playing career. Gary Lineker said that he was sorry to see Martin Peters has passed away, one of the World Cup winners' heroes, a great player and a true gentleman. Peter Shilton says, so sad to hear the passing of Martin Peters, World Cup winner, such a gentleman and a player ahead of his time, according to Sir Alf Ramsey. I played with him at England when my career started and was one with him. I will miss him. Frank Bruno said, really sad news about Martin Peters, one of my heroes, watching West Ham as a kid, a brilliant footballer and a gentleman. Stan Collingwood said, also echoes what's been said, extremely sad to hear the passing of West Ham, Spurs and England legend Martin Peters, an English sporting icon and a lovely man who would be sadly missed. And of course England have paid their own, and of course the FA in England have paid their own respects on Twitter. They've said, we're deeply saddened to hear the passing of Martin Peters, MBE, Score of the Three Lions' second goal in the 1966 World Cup final at the age of 76. And our thoughts, as well as everyone else's, and here at the JB Quiet YouTube channel, are with Martin's family and friends at this difficult time. So it's really sad. It's really sad to hear that Martin Peters, a great hero for British football, for English football, and for world football, has sadly passed away. I can't give you any links for the match. This is an audio stream. You can't watch it. You've got to listen to it. 0-0 between Liverpool and Flamengo. We're just waiting for the teams to reconverge here for the second half, but at the moment it's still a half time. In fact, both teams are now back out onto the field. So just to remind you of all the other scores that have happened, we'll keep you up to date with the score in Qatar as well, if there's any scoring. But it's Everton 0, Arsenal 0. These are full-time scores early today. Everton 0, Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 1, Southampton 3, Bournemouth 0, Burnley 1, Brighton 0, Sheffield United 1, Newcastle 1 rather, Crystal Palace 0, and Norwich 1, Wolves 2. Manchester City leading at half time. We'll keep you up to date with events in Qatar, and we'll give you a bit of a classified check of all the other scores that are up and down the country after we finish commentary this evening. So we're all set for the second half. Manchester City to kick off then, 2-1 up. Rather controversially, the penalty they got didn't look a penalty from where I was sitting in the commentary box, but it remains 2-1. There's a long ball forward again. So let me just give you a recap of the two teams. It's Ederson, Walker. This is Manchester City's team. Ederson, Walker, Otamendi, Fernandinho, Mendy, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Silva, Bernardo, that is, Mahrez, Jesus and Sterling. Leicester's team, Leicester's 11, still unchanged from the first half. Schmeichel, Pereira, Evans, Sonachu, Chilwell, Ndidi, Perez, Tillemans, Maddison, Harvey Barnes and Jamie Vardy. The substitutes bench is Sonachu just getting it back to Evans. Nothing really happening here at the moment. Let me give you the two benches very quickly. Bravo, Aguero, Zinchenko, Rodri, Cancelo, who scored at Oxford in the Cup on Wednesday night, Phil Foden and Garcia. For Leicester City, their substitutes: Ward, James Justin, Wes Morgan, Damari Gray, Marco Brighton, Kitchen Iheanacho and Pariah. The referee, Mike Dean from the Royal. The two assistants, Darren Cann on the far side, Dan Rolf Batten on the near side, and Andy Madley the fourth for show. And our VAR ref down at Stockley Park in London is Andre Mariner from Birmingham. And here come Manchester City in possession inside their own half, and it's Fernandinho getting the ball forward, and Mahrez, who had a lot of joy in that first half, scored a deserved goal from his point of view. His performance has warranted a goal tonight, I have to tell you. Harvey Barnes takes possession, can't find his colleague Jamie Vardy, who opened the scoring after 22 minutes tonight, and then obviously Mahrez came back on a half hour, and then that penalty 2 minutes from the end of the first half. It's separating the two teams in the moment. Leicester have got a free kick about 5 yards inside their own half, or inside the City half, sorry. Leicester attacking the goal to our right, incidentally, where all their supporters are situated behind. Liverpool 0, Flamengo 0. That's still going. That's into the second half. 4 minutes into the second half, still 0-0. I think they go to extra time in that final in Qatar, and that's not what Liverpool want. They were due to play West Ham today, and of course they've got this final to play, and a real chance to make a bit of history for themselves and win it for the first time. They've never won the world's biggest prize, although they've won the European Cup now, won a massive 6 times in their history. The latest being in May. They've already won the European Super Cup, and they beat Chelsea in a penalty shootout after what was actually an entertaining 2-2 draw earlier this year. Obviously they missed out on the Charity Shield at the start of the season when they lost to Manchester City, I think on penalties in the end. And then of course they've been knocked out of the Carabao Cup competition. Well, it was, mind you, that was the under-23 side. It wasn't anything that the guys out there had done. They were beaten 5-0 by Aston Villa. Leicester got through by a penalty shootout. You may have heard at Everton on Wednesday night. A really remarkable game of football we saw there. We've seen another one here this evening. City 2-1, Leicester City, sorry, 2-1 up against, Manchester City 2-1 up against Leicester City. I'm getting my cities in a tangle. Meanwhile, free kick to the Manchester equivalent against the Leicester equivalent. That's one way of putting it. And of course, I've paid my own tributes to Martin Peters, and you can leave your tributes to Martin Peters in the comment section on the left hand side. So leave your tributes to the late great Martin Peters, of formerly of West Ham, Tottenham, Norwich, and of course Sheffield United. Johnny Evans getting that ball down the line for Leicester, down the near side, down the right hand side. Ball out of play. And of course we've got the JB man of the match in the operation. 65 minutes, that vote comes into operation, so don't forget, name your player and then hashtag it with JB MLTN please. But that comes after 65 minutes, and we'll remind you how to do it again a bit later on in the show. Of course, at full time we'll bring you a full roundup of all today's scores from England and Scotland before we leave you at around about 7:30, 7:35, 7:40 this evening British time, as we come up towards the 5th minute of the second half. It's still 2-1. This is Sonichu now making a good run through the middle, but I think Vardy's just offside, but the referee quite rightly letting the play go because Edison came out and did well. Excuse me, but he stopped play. It was a fraction, just a fraction, maybe half a yard offside as that ball was played through the centre. Likes to live on the shoulder of the last defender, Jamie Vardy. He's such a competent player, and he's, I mean, 17 goals this season. I'd say that was more than competent, really. Now then, Riyad Mahrez, who's had a magnificent match so far, going down that far side, but it's well cut out by Sonichu, but he hasn't found touch, and that's going to be a free kick foul on De Bruyne. And there could be a yellow card in the offing here. Mike Dean is giving yellow cards for Leicester this evening. I think he's reaching into his pocket, is he? Yeah, he's got his card out. It's going to be a yellow. So with 6 minutes the second half gone, another yellow card. This time Wilfred Ndidi the guilty party this time. JB Claret YouTube channel live from the Etihad Stadium. So Wilfred Ndidi now into the referee's notepad. A free kick in a very dangerous position on the right hand side here for Manchester City. Far side as we look here. De Bruyne, I think, is going to be favourite to swing it in right footed. There are two, one in the Leicester wall, that's Harvey Barnes. Manderson was in the wall but is taking a position outside the wall. So De Bruyne whips it out into the penalty area, headed out by Chilwell. He'll come to, well, the whistle got anyway as Mendy struck the left-footed shot. He struck it into the stand incidentally and over the top for Manchester City, for Leicester City, sorry, goal kick. Still 0-0 incidentally as we approach 10 minutes gone in the second half of that in that other game between Liverpool and Flamengo, the Club World Cup, of course. The gap will be 1 point. It'll still be second and third as things stand. Leicester still be second and City third, but there'll be a point difference if the scores were to stay the same. If Manchester City just hold on and win this game. Plenty for Brendan Rodgers and his backroom staff to do here. They've had a remarkably good season. Whatever happens today, I don't think it should diminish them how well they've done really as a whole this season. They're in the semi-finals of the League Cup. They're challenging at the top of the Premier League, top end of the Premier League. I don't think any of their fans, if you'd have asked them that at the start, would have envisaged that at the start. They'd have been happy with a good solid top 8 to 9 finish. But to be where they are now is an amazing achievement for them. Yuri Tillemans has been robbed on the edge of the, in the centre of his own, in the centre of the park, on halfway. Bernardo taking the ball up, now finding Fernandinho in towards De Bruyne, but he loses possession, and then Fernandinho will sweep up. He's the standing Manchester City skipper. No David Silva, in case you've joined us late. He had a leg injury in the build-up to the game and missed out in the 18, but Sergio Aguero's on the bench, of course. That must be a big fillip. Must be a big fillip for him to have him back in the 16. This is Gundogan now, 35 yards from goal, chips the ball out towards the far side. This is Mendy now back inside. Sterling takes possession on the left, goes past a couple of Leicester defenders on the edge of the area. Shot comes in from Mahrez rather with his left foot. He hit it tamely, in fact, and straight down the goalkeeper's throat. And Leicester City survive, and it still remains Manchester City 2, Leicester City 1. 54 gone. We've had 55 gone all the way over in Qatar, some 6,000 miles away, where Liverpool are currently playing at the moment in the World Cup final at the moment, and it's still 0-0 between themselves and Flamengo of Brazil. And they're under the, and from what I've seen on the text commentary of that game, it's looks as if Liverpool were under the cosh a little bit. Here's Otamendi with a bit of an up and under down the near side for Manchester City, but Barnes rather indeed is won it now. And here's James Maddison, a terrific player himself, trying to get Vardy, getting behind. Perez onto Vardy. Vardy will win a throw-in, almost in line with the 6-yard box of Manchester City. Any goals that go in that game, we'll let you know. Over in Qatar. This is Johnny Evans, right hand side for Leicester City. Plays the ball in there, it's way too high for Harvey Barnes. And it's gone behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. 10 minutes gone in the second half. It's still 2-1 to Manchester City. Looks like I've got a few subscribers. Well, I can always pick at least 2 or 3 up Newgate in every other match I do. And well, Motson and Bucket. What about Brian Moore and Ron Atkinson, Panini? I think they're a much better combination. I enjoy listening to Ron Atkinson's analysis than Mr. Brookin, although Brookin was an excellent player of his generation. This is Chilwell, but he's lost out. Mahrez back across. Sterling shoots. Comes off a defender. Johnny Evans, I think, got in the way of that one. Now, Leicester now trying to get it away from the edge of their own penalty area, trying to play one-touch football. Maybe that's not a good decision. And now Pereira's got himself into a bit of a tangle. And Jesus thinks he should have a free kick, but it's a goal kick, in fact, to Leicester. And now 11 minutes into the second half. They took the lead through Jamie Vardy after 22. Some 8 minutes later, Mahrez scoring against his old club to make it 1-1. And then that controversial decision at the end of the first half, when Sterling looked to afford a penalty, it looked like it was stamping on one of the Leicester players' legs. I think he did look for that penalty, but the VAR people agreed it was a penalty. With the referee's original decision, it was a penalty, and City got the decision. It was a controversial one, and that's why Manchester City are 2-1 up here against Leicester. There may well be some falling out over that decision. Meanwhile, a free kick I think has been given to Leicester. Yeah, rest in peace, Brian Moore. A Gillingham fan as well, like you, Panini. A terrific commentator. I grew up listening to him, and he was one of the reasons why I wanted to take up commentary in the first place. Newgate agrees it shouldn't have been a penalty. I have to say, I think we're in unison that it shouldn't have been a penalty, but unfortunately for Leicester, the VAR referee Andre Mariner and his mate Mike Dean were also in unison, saying it was a penalty, but it's a decision that Leicester are going to have to accept in the fullness of time, as indeed, or rather, Mendy plays the ball across. Mahrez shoots with his left foot and just wide of the target to the left-hand post and behind for a Leicester City goal kick. They should have gone 3-1 up there, Leicester. In all fairness, there may have been a question of offside maybe against Mendy initially as the ball was played, but really it was good football from then on in. De Bruyne in there with a little flick on the edge of the area. Came to Mahrez and shot wide. Here's Madison now for Leicester City. Good turn. And plays a 1-2 with Harvey Barnes, and the ball again has run out of play. 59 gone in Qatar. It's Liverpool now. Flamengo now. Here's De Bruyne for Manchester City. And it's Jesus. He can't volley it in. And Leicester somehow scrambling out. The whistle had gone anyway. against De Bruyne here, and he gets the yellow card for arguing. But how on earth did City not score there? Leicester really switched off here. The ball was played forward. De Bruyne got through there, and this is where he should have shot there. Trying to lay it in for Jesus, and then Leicester made a complete dog's dinner of trying to clear it. And in the end, Kasper Schmeichel got on top of the ball, and, well, what an opportunity that could have been for Leicester. In fact, he swore at Mike Dean apparently, but he did argue there was some sort of industrial language used. Here's Johnny Evans for Leicester City, the former Manchester United player, but want to do well against their City neighbours. Haven't heard from Russ Vernon in a while. He's gone into hiding because Leeds lost 2-1 at Fulham this afternoon. Where are you, Russ? Give us a bell, give us a message if you're there. I think he's gone into hiding because his beloved Leeds have lost. We'll be checking up on the Championship at full time. Of course, there's Championship, League 1, League 2, Scotland as well. All the results you need from this afternoon. Coming towards an hour gone. It's an hour gone as well in that World Cup final between Liverpool and Flamengo. Still 0-0. Here's Vardy. The flag has stayed down. And there's Harvey Barnes waiting in the centre. In towards Harvey Barnes. He goes down, and the goalkeeper took him out as well. I think he might have got something there. Jamie Vardy on the shoulder of the defender. Now, was he onside is the first question. Yes, he's level for me. He's level for me. Down the right hand side he went. Barnes was scooting into the middle, and he got a flick on that. I'm not sure if Edison got a flick on that either. The ball screeched across from the right hand side, and Barnes, yeah, got a touch there. Edison came flying out there and took him out purely accidentally. Well, Barnes reckons it should have been a penalty. It's a goal kick to Manchester City, you know, after all that. Barnes is taking a knock for his troubles. The one thing, now then, is this a possible penalty? I'd like to get Panini's reaction on that. Should that be a penalty, Panini? Let me know. Bobby Firmino, I'm just being told, has hit the post for Liverpool, and it remains goalless there. But Bobby Firmino has hit the post there. No pen. I think that was probably the right decision there, Panini. I have to tell you, I'm in agreement. Mark Albright's going to be coming on shortly. Looks like for Leicester City. Maybe Jose Perez, perhaps coming off. Been a little bit redundant in the game so far, Perez. And Ricardo Pereira just taking drinks here. We've just got a break in play, so 0-0. But just to remind you, Bobby Firmino has just hit the post for Leicester. Sorry, not for Leicester. I mean for Liverpool. 0-0 in that final, in the World Cup final. Here at the Etihad, we've had 62 gone, just like the Liverpool game, and it's 2-1. Leicester close to getting an equaliser. JB man of the match, Mike Dean. No, we're not having the referee. Referees aren't players, Panini. Pick a player. He's done okay, to be fair, Mike Dean. He's had an okay game. I wouldn't say he was perfect. I don't think any referee's perfect in England these days. But pick a player, and we start the voting at 65 minutes. This is what happened here earlier on when Vardy chipped the goalkeeper. That made it 1-0 after 22 minutes. Then on a half hour, good trickery from the left hand side. Mahrez got it onto his left foot, and it takes a huge deflection of Sunachu past Schmeichel and in. And then the contentious decision, was it a penalty? It looked very soft to me. And Gundogan scoring from the resulting penalty, but I felt that should have been overturned really by VAR. And now we've got Harvey Barnes. Now that's a huge blow for Leicester. So it looks as if Harvey Barnes is going to be replaced. Well, on your shoulders be it, Panini, but I think he's had a couple of bad moments, the penalty incident especially. So Barnes goes off distraught and sadly injured. But old Brighton, who hit the crossbar in the game at Goodison on Wednesday night in that terrific, thrilling Carabao quarter-final. He certainly impressed me, and maybe will find himself a little bit unfortunate not to have been out the side. Hopefully Harvey Barnes' injury is just a precautionary measure. But he did give the original decision, Newgate, and that's the reason why I'm saying, right, Dean may have got that one wrong. Because he gave the original decision, he took his time to think about it, and he decided it was a penalty. He's not afraid to make brave decisions, but he sometimes makes the wrong ones. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, here's Mahrez now for Manchester City. Left-hand side into the penalty, or right-hand side row into the penalty area. Well stopped by Ndidi. Did really well there, the Leicester midfielder. Now Tielemans, still deep inside his own half of the field. Picks the ball up. 64 minutes gone in Qatar. It's still Liverpool 0, Flamengo 0. Bobby Firmino has come closest in that match. It doesn't look as classic from where I've been watching the text commentary so far. It's the closest they've come to a goal over in Qatar. We've had 3 here already with 65 minutes almost played here. 25 to play. Man of the match voting will begin in around about 10 seconds from now. Till the 90th minute, and then we'll announce the winner. This is Sterling in behind. The flag stays down. Right hand side tries to lay a ball back towards the edge of the penalty area for any conversion City players that might have come in there and queued up for a shot. But it's knocked away by Leicester. But again, only as far as Gundogan. Now the man of the match vote is open. Name your player, please, and the hashtag JBMLTM for your vote to count. Here's Mendy. Left hand side into the penalty area. Mahrez shoots. Terrific save by Schmeichel. Left footed shot from Riyad Mahrez, and a big left hand, it looks like, or right hand from Schmeichel, down the way to his right hand side. Has kept the ball out the net and has kept Leicester City in this game. Come on City is the cry you can hear in the background. This is Bernardo Silva, a little bit more deeper this time. JB man of the match, both for Mahrez. Good game for him. I think he's had a magnificent game. I have to agree with you there. Mahrez has certainly had a good match. Certainly given Chilwell a tormenting time on that far side and on that right hand channel. That's not given Chilwell a moment's peace. This is Pereira now for Leicester. Old Brighton. Now Tielemans, he was surely shoved there by Kevin De Bruyne here, who's asked to be very careful now. He's on a yellow card. This was Mahrez again. Should have scored here. But a big right hand there from Kasper Schmeichel. And look at Guardiola. He's getting them wild up here. He's a manager that breathes and breathes the game. And he's a man that's so much passion in it you wouldn't believe. This is Jesus though. He's robbed Ndidi of the ball. Midway inside the Leicester half. That was a little bit brainless there from Ndidi. But now Chilwell rather comes forward. Now then, can Leicester find a way back into this game? This is Ayoze Perez. He's gone over to the far side now. As Perez now. He's got Maddison. Oh, Robert Chilwell's got Maddison in the middle. This is Maddison now. Trying to lay a ball in there towards Tielemans. And Vardy's on the shoulder again. This is Ayoze Perez. Leicester now looking for an equaliser. Perez tries to shoot. And over the top. So Mahrez and Chilwell are both contenders for the match, amazingly. I know Chilwell's not had one of his best games, but that does count because he did hashtag it with the hashtag JBMLTM. So that's fair enough. So we're going to see a change here. We're going to see Damari Gray, pace to burn, this guy. Promising young lad they got from Birmingham 4 or 5 years ago. Been in and out the Leicester team. But he's, on his days, a really top quality player. Birmingham fans will agree with me on that one. And Leicester fans too. So Newgate and Panini having a little private battle there. Chilwell question mark, he says. Anyway, 68 minutes gone. Man of the match vote opens on the 90th minute. So anyone else who's listening in want to vote, please do. Hashtag JBMLTM and the name of the player of your choice, please. Here's just something to keep you going on the comment section. Here's Mendy now for Manchester City. 2-1 it is. Still 0-0. And Still 0-0. Flamengo having the better of the possession. It looks like, according to the text commentary on the World Cup final, it's still 0-0 in that game. Here's De Bruyne in this game. Into the penalty area. Goes to Guys! And turning from no more than a yard out. At the far post, the left-hand post by Gabriel Jesus. And that could kill off Leicester City. It's Manchester City 3, Leicester City 1. They'll obviously check it for offside, obviously. So, the goal stands for now 3-1. Now, will VAR check it for offside? That's the only way it could be disallowed. Let's have a look. It's a lovely one by De Bruyne now. Is he offside? No, he's on. It's a perfectly good goal. It stands. Good left-footed. Side foot in. And any lingering doubts about City blowing this one away, or throwing this one away, is surely now banished to the cleaners, thanks to that third goal from a yard out of 2 by Gabriel Jesus. And the gap between second and third will be 1 single point. Pep Guardiola is absolutely delighted. Brendan Rodgers will point to that controversial penalty given against his side at the end of the first half. It did look a very dodgy decision. Not just by Mike Dean, I should add. Also by Andre Mariner, the VAR man at Stockley Parks. We're still 0-0 in the other game that we're updating you on at the moment. Any goals that go in that game from now to the end of the broadcast, we'll let you know. This is Damari Gray. Oh, he loses his footing there. Still keeps possession. Appeals to handball against Madison has been given. Mike Dean has given a yellow card for handball against James Maddison. 20 minutes of the match to play. Manchester City 3, Leicester City 1. In fact, I think it might have been for, but in fact not. I don't think it is a handball. I think it's the Gundogan challenge, actually, sorry, on Vardy, and the referee then played an advantage. Raheem Sterling will be shocked to learn that he's not won another JBM LTM. Well, if there's any Manchester City fans listening in, you've got a chance to vote for him now in the Man of the Match award. Still plenty of time left. We've got about just under 20 minutes to vote for the votes to keep being casted here. And still 0-0. And Flamengo, from what I'm seeing on the text commentary here, or text commentary on the internet, is they're on top at the moment, but they can't make any advantage count against Liverpool. But City are making their advantage count. It's going to be a good night for Liverpool regardless, because Leicester City, are their nearest challengers. And at the moment, City will be causing the gap, but also helping Liverpool in some sort of a weird way, because Liverpool will have a game in hand, and you can bet your bottom dollar that West Ham probably will be launched to the slaughter. Not that I'm trying to put the mockers on it, but you certainly fancy Liverpool in that game in hand against West Ham. You fancy him anywhere in the Premier League. And they're not having things their own way in Qatar at the moment. 0-0 in that final, World Cup final. Liverpool winning with a late Bobby Firmino goal on Wednesday night. But here comes Ndidi with his Ostad again, and Gundogan, his former charge of Cup, has gone forward. The shot deflects by Mahrez, and it's a corner. It hits Sonichu and goes over the crossbar. Left-footed shot gets a massive deflection, and there's been an injury. I'm seeing on the text report there that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has gone down with an injury.
Henderson, Firmino, beautiful Firmino. Oh, so unlucky. How did it not go in?
Apologies there if you heard Steve Wilson in the background there, but it's still 0-0 at the moment. Apologies if you heard the commentary from the other game. Liverpool being held by Flamengo, still 0-0. They're going up towards a quarter of an hour to play in that game. That was commentary of the post being hit, by the way. But we are at the Etihad Stadium. I've got a couple of laptops alongside me, plus a monitor to watch the action on as well, and replays and stuff like that. This is Gundogan now for Manchester City. He's had a marvellous second half. Remember, JBMLTM and the name of your player, man in the match vote, up until the 90th minute here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Bernardo Silva. Back to Fernandinho. I only cast a man in the match vote if it's a draw between two players. I don't vote for man in the match because I'm commentating, so I've got to take it. I've got to take a backside seat to that. Here's Mendy into the penalty area. It goes. De Bruyne now inside the area, left hand side, gets his shot off and tipped away rather casually by Kasper Schmeichel over the top of the bar and behind for a corner to Manchester City. Chipped to a left footed cross in, or cross comes shot, I should say. The fourth one now will surely make the game safe for Manchester City. And I can't type in the comments. I only take a part in it if it's a draw after 90 minutes, because we have to have an outright winner. We can't have a shared award. Here comes the corner into the penalty area, turned away by Chilwell. And it's out for a throw in. Mahrez will have another go. Trying to get Bernardo in behind. Bernardo dispossessing Chilwell. Well, he's in the running, believe it or not, for man in the match along with Mahrez. Vardy's not been involved in the second half at all. Might get a chance now. Vardy on the end of this now, and Vardy up against Fernandinho, and he's got away here. He's got Gray in the middle, and Vardy's cross couldn't find Gray from the right hand channel. And now Leicester have got some defending to do. Quarter of an hour to go. Still 0-0 in the other game between Liverpool and Flamengo in the World Club Championship final. Here's James Maddison, who had a marvellous game at Everton the other night. Finds Demarai Gray. Now Ben Chilwell, the England left back. Now Demarai Gray again. Left hand channel. Maddison takes possession. He's just broke into the England side only this season. Johnny Evans, the Northern Irishman. Here's Pereira in towards Vardy. Well placed there, or Brighton, sorry. Well placed there by the Manchester City defence. We're going to see another change in the offering for Leicester. Tielemans is going off, and Payet, who played the majority of the game at Everton on Wednesday in the game that we covered, that 2-2 cup thriller, is now going to come on. Payet is going to come on now. We're now coming towards the business end of the game. 13 minutes to go in Qatar, but still Liverpool 0, Flamengo 0. Bobby Firmino has hit a post in that match. Here it's 3-1 to City. Manchester City, that is. Here's Pereira for Leicester, the Leicester equivalent, but they've lost possession again. This is Raheem Sterling. Oh, just over hit the pass there. Then De Bruyne wasn't sure whether he was onside or not. And it goes into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel. Soichu out to the left hand side, and now Maddison to hit a long ball forward, and that will ask Demarai Gray something. But his first touch is very, very poor and very, very heavy, and that's gone out for a goal kick, I'm afraid. Yes, I'll never forget the moment when you went bananas. Leighton Baines, you don't see goals like that. Look at it, mate. You never see goals like that very rarely in football these days. 35-yard blockbusters. So to see what a commentator on live was an absolute dream, and I wasn't going to turn down the chance of going absolutely bananas. It was such a good game as well up until that point. It was a really good match, and it deserved that sort of finish, really. And then Leicester, if they're going to save a point, need to score twice in the remaining, 12 minutes, is it? Plus stoppage time. They're capable of doing it. They've done it many times this season. They were trailing against Everton at the King Power in the league match some 4 or 5 weeks ago, and came back from the dead and scored a very late goal there. Could they come back from the dead and win and try and get something from this game? While Gundogan is coming off here. Looks like for Manchester City, as we see that goal again from, well, I'm seeing a goal again from Gabriel Jesus. Is it Gundogan is coming off? Yeah, it's Elwar Gundogan is going to come off. Just picked up a bit of a knock. It's coming off, getting a good ovation from the Manchester City supporters. And I think we're going to see Rodri here that comes on. Yep, it's Rodri that comes on, so he's on. The City have used all their free. Game of the year for Panini was Dortmund against Inter Milan in the Champions League. That was the group stage match earlier this season. And we've commentated on some magnificent games this year in the calendar year on the JB Clark YouTube channel. And of course, you haven't seen last night's video where I addressed you guys in a Christmas speech. You can check it out after the match and after we've finished here. Plus we'll have some more ITV reboot matches as well for you as well from FIFA 19. Meanwhile, there's a chance here for Mahrez to try and score a second one. He's played really well today, Riyad Mahrez, and he should possibly on for the man of the match award. You've got he's level at the moment on votes in terms of the man of the match with Ben Chilwell, would you believe it? But if you want an outright winner, you've got to vote. Leicester winning 9-0 against Southampton, of course. I was at work that night, so I missed out on history. Here's Rodri now to Bernardo Silva. It's all about keep ball now for Manchester City. They've played 81 minutes in Qatar. We're coming up to 80 minutes here. 3-1 here at the Etihad in our commentary match. And over in Qatar, it's Liverpool 0 still, Flamengo 0 in the World Club final. Extra time it could well be in that one. Here's a chance inside the area now for Jesus. Across the face, turned away by Schmeichel, and then Sterling trying to hook the rebound in from an acute angle with his right foot, missed his kick, and O'Brien can get it away down the Leicester City right. But only as far as Rodri wins possession on halfway. Real good football this by Manchester City. Let's forget about the controversial decision that may well have decided this, but they've had to play some really good stuff today, Manchester City, to get the victory here this evening. Walking now over to the far side, De Bruyne. Back to Kyle Walker again, the Sheffield board right back, and he finds the upper side, goes to the left, switches play to the left, and Mendy. Now back in field to Mahrez, who's had a superb game. Rodri now. Back in field to Mahrez. Mahrez back to Rodri. Rodri turning there and finding Fernandinho. Fernandinho again. So behind Otamendi. Now Bernardo Silva. Rodri again finds Mendy. Still 3-1 to Manchester City. If you've joined us late, 81.5 minutes played. 8.5 to play. Now the ball ushered back to goalkeeper Edison. 83 gone in Qatar. Still Liverpool 0, Flamengo 0 in the World Cup final. Thank you, New Keaton. Have a fantastic Saturday, and also have a very Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Have a fantastic Christmas, and I hope you get whatever Santa Claus is giving you. 8 minutes left to play. Rodri playing another ball out towards the far side, and the ball out of play for a throw into Manchester City. Thank you very much, New Kit, and have a fantastic Christmas day. And as I say, I hope Santa brings you whatever you want. City is the cry here from this very packed arena here. There's a few empty seats now. City fans, one and two of them leaving early. Purely and simply to beat the traffic here. It's going to be very chock-a-block coming into Manchester today. People out shopping in time for Christmas and everything else. You know, everyone out and about to get that final bit of Christmas shopping, whether it's a turkey or a last-minute extra presents or three, or just to buy some decorations, or even to buy a Christmas tree. So, and of course, the famous Manchester Christmas markets are also in full swing. And up until I think it's New Year's, I think it's Christmas Eve, the Manchester markets run for you. I went past them on the way to the ground this afternoon, and they are really And I look at them, I was very impressed with the way they've all turned out. I think Manchester do a really good Christmas market. So if you're ever in the area near Manchester, get up to those Christmas markets in Manchester, because they're really good. They're really good to browse around with. Anyway, meanwhile here at the Etihad in the football, we've got about 6.5 minutes, I think, left in the game, and it's still 3-1 to Manchester City over their Leicester City counterparts. And the game, after a really good 70 odd minutes, sort of petering out now. Leicester, I think all this, they had to play a decent team in midweek as well, so the tiredness is now showing on their faces at the moment. Maybe it was one game too much this week. Remember, they had all that, they had the frustrations at Everton, and they just about snuck through 4-2 on penalties after a really entertaining 2-2 draw. They did run out of steam after 70 minutes in that match at Goodison as well, and Everton were unlucky not to win. The way they played the last 20 minutes, Duncan Ferguson's charges, they were superb. And Ancelotti, of course, takes good competitive charge on Boxing Day when Everton meet Burnley. Burnley, of course, have a battling win against Bournemouth this afternoon. Wasn't a classic by any means. It was very poor and played in poor conditions down on the south coast here. And Jay Rodriguez, the hometown boy, with a late winning goal. And Burnley, as things stand at the moment, are in the top 10. Happy days. Castle Schmeichel gets it away. 3-1 to Manchester City. Good value for their lead. And then Shanichuk completely missed his kick there, and then the ball is hooked out of play. It came off a City defender, incidentally. No, it came off Shanichuk last. No, it did come off a City player, incidentally, so it is a throw-in. Oh dear. Oh, the mind boggles. 5 minutes to play. 4 minutes to go in the game at in Qatar. And a long ball forward, and a chance here now, and Payet can't get any contact with the ball. I think he tried to slide in to try and flip it over Edison's head, just like Vardy did in the first half, which gave Leicester City the lead. But it back came Manchester City in typical swashbuckling style, and they're very worthy winners at the end of it all. If you take out the iffy referee and Mike Dean on the penalty, I did honestly think it was didn't honestly think it was a penalty. I thought it was a stamp. I thought Sterling has stood on the Leicester player's foot. There will be obviously repercussions. There will be obviously Pep will feel that his team have been hard done by, and they have been hard done by a few times this season and last season in the Champions League, of course, by some very controversial VAR decisions. A little more so against Tottenham Hotspur in that epic semi-final when they looked to have gone through, only 90 seconds later for the goal to be ruled out. Tottenham went on to the final where they were comfortably beaten by Liverpool. This is De Bruyne now for Manchester City. Benitez says, my Christmas dinner will be Walker's and Real McCoy Chris against the I nearly said pork pie, against this Cornish pasty steak. Other pasty steaks are available, and kidney pie, and a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Again, other fizzy drinks are available. But anyway, back to the game. 3 minutes to go. Leicester 3-1 down against Manchester City. Have looked really back to their sharpest form, and they've looked a better team in contrast to when we last covered them against Manchester United, when they were really poor for about 70 minutes that day. Here's Johnny Evans back to Kasper Schmeichel. Just to remind anyone, Leicester attacking the goal to our right, City to the left, and we're inside the last 2 minutes and a half. Bus stoppage time, of course, and then at full time we'll let you know. It looks as if we're going to go all the way to extra time in this game. It's still 0-0. It's a good job we swerved this one, because it has not been a classic, I'm told. And extra time will be played if it does end a draw over in Qatar, and we'll let you know during our full time roundup. We'll be on the air until about 7:30, so we'll get you abreast, and we'll We'll also talk to the main protagonists. We'll do press conferences from all the 3 o'clock games as we see a substitution here for Manchester City. Off comes Raheem Sterling. And on comes a very promising young lad, Phil Foden, one of the members of the England under-17 squad that won the under-17s World Cup some 2.5-3 years ago now. We've got a real start on the round here at Manchester City. Come up through the ranks here at the Etihad, and now he's getting a real taste of it all here with some of the big stars in world football. Great education to learn off. This is Old Brighton now on the right hand side for Leicester, back towards Pereira. Pereira in field now to Maddison, who's had a super season himself so far. Chilwell is over on the far side if he can reach the cross. But Otamendi went the situation magnificently well. He's not had much to do, Nicola Otamendi, in the game, apart from being found wanting on the goal. Bertinho has just been yellow carded in that Liverpool match. We saw the last 30 seconds of stoppage time, or the last 30 seconds of the normal time at the end of the second half. And here's De Bruyne running about 40-50 yards through the centre over the halfway line. Tries to pick out Phil Foden on the left-hand channel. Can't find him, and Pereira covers and gets it back to Schmeichel. In fact, plays a 1-2, and De Bruyne now has hurt himself and is signalling towards the bench. I think City have made all their substitutions as well. De Bruyne is down there on the edge of the D, of the Leicester City D. We've played 90 minutes, he'll get some attention. 4 added minutes to be added on at the end of the game as Pep Guardiola, who's lost Mikel Arteta, of course, his right-hand man to Arsenal. He was in bailed as their manager this morning. He was in the stands also at Goodison Park along with Carlo Ancelotti, the new Everton manager. And now then, there might be there's been some drama in the game at in Qatar. Mane was clean through, scuffs it wide, but VAR's having a look. Was there a possible penalty? Well, if there's any decisions now, the game's won here. We'll keep a check on what's happening in that VAR thing at in Liverpool. And what a moment. No, he hadn't used all his 3 substitutes. De Bruyne off, and a huge cheer for Sergio Aguero. Sergio Aguero, after a couple of months out, he's back in the fold. And well, good to see him back. Now Leicester have it with Johnny Evans. We'll let you know if Liverpool get that penalty. They're still got VAR. If any updates come up, we'll let you know. So any Liverpool fans listening in, let me know. Sterling looked disappointed. I think people just told him he's not going to win the JB Man of the Match. Speaking of which, I've got the casting vote, and I'm going to go with we're going to go with Riyad Mahrez. So that was Luke Caton's choice. Riyad Mahrez is our JB Man of the Match winner. I think you'll be happy with Mahrez winning our Man of the Match award. I think Sterling, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Anyway, here's Johnny Evans for Leicester. Played really well, contributed to what's been a terrific game of football in the Premier League, but ultimately they're just going to come up short against the Manchester City side who have looked lean, mean and keen. And I think scoring that goal really galvanised City into life. The Leicester City goal really galvanised City into life. Here's Jamal Regredo. Leicester won't give up though until the end as they get the cross in from the far side. It was Ben Chilwell with the cross from the left, and well taken inside his penalty area there by Edison. So the gap now between second and third will be a point. It was 4 at the start of play. Leicester in second place. They'll still stay there. And of course Manchester City will stay in third. But as I said, the gap will stay at a point. Panini's view on the potential penalty that could be awarded. As we see Sergio Aguero break through, but Sonachu is back. But he's lost possession. Still Aguero. They want a penalty. I don't think they're going to get it. We now Chilwell to bring it away for Leicester City. We've got about a minute and 4 left. And still, we don't have a decision in that match in Qatar, whether that's a penalty or not. But we'll let you know if it goes. We'll stay on the air. We're on the air for another 20 minutes. We're going to do a classified check and let you know what happens in the Liverpool game, of course. And they're still deliberating on VAR. This is over in Qatar, but if there's any breaking news on that, we'll let you know. We're inside the last 30 seconds here at the Etihad. It's a little bit more clear-cut, this result. Here's Chilwell. But Leicester still giving it a good go. Chilwell to the engineer. Can they get one back here? Or Brighton trying to keep it alive? Panini reckons it's not a penalty because it's a correct decision. We haven't had the official view from the laptop yet. We've got we've played the 4 minutes. And in fact, it isn't a penalty at all. And it hasn't even been given as a foul, I'm told. Well, that does surprise me. But here we go. We're at the end now. And here's... In fact, we're going to go over to Qatar and bring you BBC commentary of the game. So we'll be going live to Qatar to pick up BBC commentary of the game as soon as we get extra time. Then we'll have a classified rundown. So we'll be joining Steve Wilson over there in Qatar as the whistle goes to end the game here at the Etihad Stadium. A great performance that by Manchester City. 3-1 winners. The gap still remains 10 points. That will suit Liverpool down to the ground. They're on 49 points. Leicester have now still on 39. They stay on 39. City now move up to 38 points, a point behind. And Chelsea in 4th, way back on 29 points. So that really just spices things up as regards the top 4. Leicester stays 2nd, City 3rd, but the gap between the two sides is a point. And Manchester City now with that win are 11 points behind Liverpool in the race for the title. So don't discount them out of any title race just yet. Jamie Vardy put Leicester in front after 22 minutes. Then Mahrez hit our man of the match. Mahrez hit the equaliser. Then there was a penalty, a controversial penalty given when Raheem Sterling was adjudged. And I said in inverted commas, adjudged to have been brought down in the penalty area. It didn't look a penalty from where I saw it. And replays backed me up, but the VAR, they went to VAR, they gave the penalty. Gundogan put the penalty away, and then in the second half, Gabriel Jesus made it absolutely safe. And from then on in, it was basically play through the motions. But City really back to their fluid best. For Leicester, well, it's not a damaging defeat, but they played really well and played a real contributing factor into really putting their efforts into the game. They'll get ultimately no points for it, but not many teams go to the Etihad and win. And City look a far better side from when we last saw them 3 weeks ago against Manchester United in a derby, and they are back to winning ways, and that's good to see. And it looks as if we're going to extra time in that Liverpool Flamengo match up in Qatar. We'll be crossing over there for BBC commentary of that game as Leicester make their way off the field. So it's finished 3-1 this afternoon to Manchester City. The team's fortunately making it shaking hands and going off the pitch in good spirits. There was a game played in a very competitive and very well managed spirit, and I think both teams deserve a lot of credit for that. But it's Manchester City who take the spoils there. Edison throwing his shirt into the crowd over on the left hand side there, and one young City fan's Christmas has been made up. Well, City will go into Christmas in a very good mood. They play Wolves on the 27th at Molineux, and Wolves won at Norwich today, so this is not going to be, it's going to be far from easy for Manchester City. Not many teams go to Wolves and win, although Spurs did it last week. So there we are. There are 2 more games tomorrow. That's Watford and Manchester United, of course. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff, and then at 4:30 it's Tottenham Hotspur against Chelsea. So we've got they've just gone into extra time. We'll be going over to Stephen Warnock and Steve Wilson, the BBC commentators out there for that World Cup match. So we'll be handing over to them. Boxing Day, some cracking little games there, and then we'll be back. We'll certainly be back on the 27th on the Friday for Wolves against Manchester City. That should be an absolute crackerjack. 8 o'clock kickoff, I believe, on the JB Clark YouTube channel. And then the 28th, we've got Burnley, Manchester United, amongst others. Some really good matches there. Arsenal, Chelsea, of course. Liverpool, Wolves. Some really good games. And then the FA Cup starts in January the 1st. Again, some really good games, including Burnley against Aston Villa. Arsenal, Manchester United looks a really good crackerjack. And then on the 2nd, Liverpool against Sheffield United. Some big games, that's for sure. So we're finished here at the Etihad. I'll bring you up to date with all the full-time scores a little bit later on. We'll be crossing over in a second or two to Steve Wilson in Qatar for the final of the World Cup Championships. So we're gonna just break off from the Etihad. We're just having a look there. I'm just gonna have a look at this decision because we've got the game on now. I've got footage. Rafinha, well, he reckons that wasn't a penalty. So Liverpool will feel hard done by, but City have been certainly the victims of their own VAR. They've emptied the crowd here at the empty Etihad. It's been a satisfactory day for Manchester City. Will it be a satisfactory day for Liverpool? We're going to turn attention to them now. And we're going to swap. So we're going to go. So we're going to go straight to Liverpool now, and they're going for the toss-up for things. So as soon as the kick-off reconvenes, we'll be crossing over to the BBC commentators out there. That's Steve Wilson and Stephen Warnock. Boy, have they got a good gig out there today. So we'll be crossing over to Anfield very shortly. And there's a few chances for Liverpool. Bobby Firmino, of course, hit the post. That might not be the actual Liverpool starting team. We don't know yet, but we're going to extra time here in this crucial game. And we'll be crossing over to Qatar in a second or two to join Steve Wilson in the commentary box. So we'll hand over to Steve Wilson, and we'll round up all today's scores. And of course we'll be interacting between half time and full time at the end. So I'm going to turn presenter now for half an hour. We're going to have an extended half an hour to 3/4 of an hour. We'll have the classified check at the end of the evening. We've got history to be made here over in Qatar. We're going to cross over to Qatar for the kickoff. So let's join our commentators out there. It might be a bit more televisional, but bear with us. It's Steve Wilson and Stephen Warnock in the commentary box.
Wilson for extra time, and who knows, possibly penalties. Well, thank you, Gary. It's Flamengo who kick off the first period of extra time. All in white, Liverpool all in red. Liverpool have had not much luck in this tournament over the years. Here's Bruno Henrique. Alexander-Arnold deals with that. The flag's up on this near side. Offside free kick to Liverpool. There are aspects of this final, Stephen, I hate to keep reminding you of the one that you lost in Yokohama, but there are certainly aspects of this game that remind me of that one.
There certainly are. The chances that Liverpool have created in the woodwork, and clear chances that they should do better with. There's a break again.
Keita into Roberto Firmino. Robertson, Mane and Salah in the middle. It's a very good defensive header that by Felipe Luis, and then touched calmly back to Diego Alves by Willian Arauz. Super header by Felipe Luis.
All his experience at the back post, wasn't it? Knowing what's around him. Maybe a clear shout from his goalkeeper as well.
Here he is again. Now Vitinho. Bruno Henrique. Henderson in for Liverpool. Firmino. Slightly heavy touch, sliding challenge. Guides it away from Firmino, who then won the 50-50. Robertson running at Rafinha, who's got a bit of help from Gabriel Barbosa. Gerson, free kick.
Just keep your eye on Barbosa as well. He's feeling himself. Hand up to the bench.
Yeah.
He's got cramp as well. Again, we talk about the fatigue. Gerson just getting a foul there from Robertson. Jurgen Klopp doesn't feel like it's a foul again. Flamengo players going down a little bit too easy in his eyes. The fatigue is setting in for this Flamengo team.
Down he goes. This is Gabriel Barbosa.
You can't see, but out of your shot is Jurgen Klopp smiling at Barbosa. He thinks he's playing games. Barbosa's actually said, no, I am injured, it's genuine, I'm not trying to waste time.
I think Klopp's point might be that he managed to walk about 10 metres before he went to ground. If he walked another 10, he could get himself off the pitch, but there we are. One spectacular attempt with the overhead kick from Gabriel Barbosa in this game. Another shot on the turn that was well over the top of the Liverpool crossbar. Being stretchered off with cramp.
One thing I'd be desperate to get down me is a drink of water. If I'm suffering from cramp, you just wonder if it might be a little bit more than cramp. He's up back on his feet, out of your shot.
He's alright. Be back on in a sec. Felipe Luis forward to Bruno Henrique. Joe Gomez is there for Liverpool. Jordan Henderson. Alexander Arnold. Cut out by Pablo Mari. Pablo Mari, here's Felipe Luis. Gabriel Barbosa is back on, by the way. Felipe Luis with the throw-in for Flamengo. Robert Pires D'Amato, one of the Flamengo substitutes, is out, getting some instructions from the coaching staff. Andrew Robertson clipping it up towards Adam Lallana. Lallana is adjudged for a foul to Rafinha.
There's Rafinha again, just feeling the arm in the back, arch the back, make the most of it for the referee, make sure that you buy that foul. Again, using all that experience.
Diego. Pablo Mari. Vitinho. Vitinho running it. Alexander Arnold keeping his eyes glued to the ball. Vitinho's wriggled through though. It's a corner.
Magnificent defending from Virgil van Dijk. He knows Gomez, he can see Gomez. He can see he's not opened his body, so he has to step into that near post area, read the situation. Vitally important header.
Vitinho with a Flamengo corner kick. Bit of a grubber in all honesty. Robertson away. This is dropping down. William Arao. I was going to say with snow on it, but not in Doha. Diego Alves. Substitute is about to come on. Robert Pires D'Amato. He's a Paraguayan international who played for his country at the Copa America in 2016. Didn't make the squad for this summer's tournament. Defensive midfielder. Alisson away. Henderson. Firmino. Lallana. Alexander Arnold, not quite what he intended, but it's found Robertson. Vitinho. Felipe Luis cut out by Naby Keita. Sadio Mane being chased by Gerson. Mane, Firmino. Keita's in a good position, he's found him. Naby Keita, change of feet, good block by the defender Rodrigo Caio, and then a nice little shake of the hips from Gerson bought him some room. Bruno Henrique. Vitinho. Diego. Rafinha. William Arao. He's had a very good game, hasn't he, Flamengo's number 5. It's a super screen, he really is. Felipe Luis. Vitinho back into Felipe Luis. Gabriel Barbosa, tight angle, looks for Bruno Henrique, found only Henderson. Henderson through to Mane, Mane with Rafinha again. Firmino, and still Liverpool lead. It's been a long time coming, but Roberto Firmino scores for Liverpool. The deadlock is broken, and Liverpool may, in 2019, be crowned champions of the world. Well, it's this pass from Jordan Henderson. It's the same run again from Sadio Mane. It's inside the fullback. Then can you pick the right pass? He can. Can Roberto Firmino find that composure that's probably been lacking most of the night in front of goal? He certainly can. Just inside. Pick your head up. Drops the goalkeeper on his backside, and it's a great finish from Roberto Firmino to put Liverpool ahead. Liverpool lead. James Milner is going to be coming on. I think Naby Keita is going off. It's a brilliantly composed finish from Liverpool's Brazilian number 9 to put them in front against the Brazilians from Rio de Janeiro. It's just perfect from Roberto Firmino. He just slows play down in the box. The defender, you have to make a decision. You try and stop the shot with a block. As soon as you stretch your leg out, Firmino, he knows he's in control of the situation. The defender actually covers the eyesight of the goalkeeper, and that blocks it. Firmino's in pole position. Here they come again. Sadio Mane, Lallana to his left, can't quite find him. Mohamed Salah, good save again by Diego Alves, and it drops just wide. That's magnificent from Salah. It's what we see from him week in and week out in the Premier League. Trying to bend it round the defender in the far corner. So difficult to stop as well, because if you try and outstretch that leg, he'll just dip in again and go. Fantastic save from Diego Alves. The Liverpool goal has changed the Flamengo substitution. Robert Pires de Mota has sat down again. Lincoln, the centre forward's going to be on in a minute. Robertson with a corner kick. Van Dijk trying to win it. Milner's there for Liverpool. Milner's driven shot hit William Arao. Virgil van Dijk here. Good save. Firmino flags up. Rightly so. Referee says play on. Gerson forward. Looking for Gabriel Barbosa. Diego. Vitinho. Vitinho for Flamengo. Running away from Van Dijk. Goes to ground. Free kick. And maybe Flamengo now will make the change. They will. Gerson, defensive midfielder, I think was always going to be the man coming off, but they've changed the man coming on. This is a 19-year-old Lincoln, who is a Brazilian under-20 international. They rate him very highly. and he replaces Gerson to try and increase Flamengo's attacking threat. Free kick Flamengo. Vitinho and Willian Arau over this. Vitinho. I think he's going to have a go here. He is, and Liverpool will be quite happy about that.
I'm delighted if he stood in the wall and you see him stood over it thinking that he can beat Alisson from, what would you say it is, Steve, 45 yards, 45 yards, a long way out to try and get the ball up and down with pace, beat a goalkeeper of Alisson's quality.
Sadio Mane for Liverpool. Nice from Vitinho. Little layoff from Lincoln has gone astray. Sadio Mane. Blocked by Rafinha. Rafinha's thigh muscles will be burning. It's Liverpool noise now. And Sadio Mane has won a corner off Rodrigo Caio. That's clever play by Mane. Now it's Liverpool's turn to be unhurried. The Liverpool songs peal around the Khalifa International Stadium. Andrew Robertson to take the corner kick. Referee's whistle has gone. He's going to want him to do it again. Taking up an enormous divot with that first corner, Robertson.
Just needs to be careful as well, because if he loses his foot in, that's where you can really injure yourself. Surprised they haven't put a right footer on it now.
Robertson's corner was scuffed a little bit. It bounced up and hit Vitinho. Liverpool were appealing for handball. Jordan Henderson cannot believe that a penalty hasn't been awarded. Gomez looks for Mohamed Salah. Felipe Luis got a foot in. Willian Arau has won it. Turns very neatly away from Salah. That was good play by Willian Arau. This is Bruno Henrique. Is held by Milner. The card's coming out here. James Milner gets a yellow card. Liverpool have Divock Origi stripped and ready for action. Milner in the book.
Yeah, very clever foul from James Milner. Talk about Rafinha using his experience. You think about James Milner there. This is the penalty shout. Jordan Henderson claimed it was a penalty. Skips off his thigh and onto his hand. Very harsh to give that.
Yeah, you can't give that. Diego for Flamengo. Lincoln Diego trying to wriggle through. Alisson is there. We are playing a minimum of 2 added minutes at the end of the first period of extra time, and Divock Origi is going to be on shortening. Jorge Jesus deep in thought. Came from behind in Lima in the Copa Libertadores final against River Plate. Must do so again if they are to be crowned Club World Cup winners. Van Dijk long looking for Salah. That's going all the way through to Diego Alves. Roberto Firmino's goal in stoppage time won the semi-final. Will Roberto Firmino's goal in extra time win the final? Felipe Luis for Flamengo. Virgil van Dijk. There'll be time to take this before the end of the first period. It's a corner.
Yeah, really well dealt with by Van Dijk. That just bouncing in front of him made it very difficult. He's done the sensible thing.
Firmino got a yellow card for taking his shirt off in the celebration, by the way. In by Vitinho, headed out by Firmino. Rafinha, Felipe Luis. Vitinho. And the referee says that will do for the first period. So now it is down to the wisdom of the coaching staff. Liverpool are going to make a substitution during this first period of extra time. Divock Origi is coming on. You may have better eyesight than me, but Stephen Warnock, I can't tell what that...
I'm just going to break off from Steve Wilson's commentary here because it's supposed to help with extra time. So we're level. They're just swapping over. Just to remind you, we'll have the second half of the second half commentary, second half extra time commentary of Liverpool against Flamengo here. So 1-0. Bobby Firmino with the goal there. About 5 minutes from the end of the first period of extra time. We'll be staying with commentary from Doha with BBC. And then at full time we'll be bringing you all the results from this afternoon and this evening for you. Just to remind you, if you joined us late, Manchester City beat Leicester by 3-1. Burnley beat Bournemouth by 1-0. Southampton beat Aston Villa at Villa Park. Newcastle edged out Crystal Palace. Brighton 0, Sheffield United 1. Norwich 1, Wolves 2. And Everton 0, Arsenal 2. So we're going to reconvene now. We're going to cross over to Doha for the final 15 minutes of this World Club final between Liverpool and Flamengo. Liverpool leading, as I say, by 1-0. As I see John Barnes in the crowd there, Liverpool legend of his own esteem. So we're just waiting for the second half to reconvene here in Doha. As soon as we see it, as soon as they're preparing to kick off, we'll rejoin Steve Wilson in a second. But the goal from Bobby Firmino, a terrific goal. Can Liverpool do it now? They've got 15 minutes, remember. If Flamengo were to equalise in that time, they would go to penalties. But Liverpool in pole position. They brought on Divock Origi actually for Bobby Firmino. That's a half-time in extra time change. They've taken drinks on board. The referee's ready. Let's get back to Stephen Warnock and to Steve Wilson.
Winning that, they might be winning this.
Just looks like Divock Origi is going to be that lone striker. Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah playing narrow in behind him.
Flamengo have to go for it, and that might open up the door for Liverpool, but they have no choice. They know it, but they have no choice. William Arao, Felipe Luis, Milner got a really good foot in. Henderson is caught by Felipe Luis. It's a free kick. I'm quite surprised the card didn't come out.
Brilliant from Jordan Henderson again. Great tackle from Milner initially. Henderson has covered every blade of grass, but it's that man's goal. Roberto Firmino, while Liverpool are ahead. Brazilian against the Brazilian team.
Alexander-Arnold to Gomez, Gomez to Van Dijk. Towards Felipe Luis, one header from Salah, Bruno Henrique. It's a free kick. Klopp is leaping around his technical area.
Actually hear what he says. He says there's no touch, there's no touch.
Diego to take this for Flamengo. Rodrigo Caio is forward, Pablo Mari is forward. It's Diego, outstretched leg of Alexander-Arnold sent it high, the head of Gomez took it away, Mane's given it back, William Arao to Diego, Felipe Luis, good header from Van Dijk, and wide of the goal from Gabriel Barbosa.
Really good defending again from Joe Gomez, who's been superb all night. Sees Barbosa pulling that foot back. Try to get your body in front of it. Try and make yourself as big as you can. Barbosa's a little bit tired. Lashes at the ball. The technique he'd have liked.
Hasn't had a clear-cut chance in the game yet, has he really? The man they call Gabigol, and Liverpool will very much hope it stays that way. Origi chasing Rafinha. Origi fouling Rafinha. Rodrigo Caio here for Flamengo. Back into Rafinha. Willian Arao. Pablo Mari. Felipe Luis. Bruno Henrique. Very lively first half, less so since Bruno Henrique. Here he is. Milner with the challenge. Liverpool get the throw. They've managed to largely keep him quiet since that first 45 minutes. Bruno Henrique, when he was a real force to be reckoned with.
Just see the experience of James Milner, Jordan Henderson. They know when the ball's down this side, get the cover on, help Trent Alexander-Arnold out.
Henderson forward. Pablo Mari with the header, then Milner. Now Mane, looking for Robertson. Into Mane. Held up well by Rodrigo Caio. That's really good defending. Rafinha. Van Dijk getting in front of Gabriel Barbosa. Milner. Lallana. Well worked Liverpool, but then the flag's gone up. Offside, free kick to Flamengo. But Liverpool have seen out the first 5 minutes of the second period of extra time in the FIFA Club World Cup final, leading by a goal to nil, scored by Roberto Firmino.
Seems to be the difference in mentality of Liverpool over the last couple of years, knowing how to see a game out, changing the style of play during the game. So far they've looked very organised in this second half of extra time.
Bruno Henrique through Henderson's challenge, away from Lallana. Little touch off to Gabriel Barbosa. Wide it goes to Vitinho, forced wide by the slightly overhit pass. Rafinha edging forward in support. Here he is. Rafinha, Diego, Rafinha, cut out by Milner. Diego, Pablo Mari. Good play Flamengo. Bruno Henrique. Liverpool looking for offside. Oh, it deflects off Gomez, and Alisson clutches it.
Liverpool players looking for offside. They're the fraction off, level with Virgil van Dijk. Can't think about that. You just have to deal with the situation, which Alisson does very, very well.
Alexander-Arnold to Mohamed Salah to Jordan Henderson. It's 5-11 local time. And Milner's been left in a heap here. Liverpool are playing on. Divock Origi has it. Still down, James Milner. Origi whipping a cross in, which was volleyed away for a Liverpool throw-in. Milner is back on his feet. Milner's not one to go down unless you have to. And the card is brandished at Diego, who did apologise for the challenge immediately, actually.
Just catches him, Milner, with his trailing arm as he comes through on the tackle.
Gomez. Robertson.
Just always an out at Sadio Mane, isn't he, for Robertson? The relationship they have down that left-hand side, critical.
Oh, lovely ball from Mane to Adam Lallana. Lallana here for Liverpool, knocked over by Rafinha. Liverpool have a free kick. What a glorious ball that was into Adam Lallana.
Yes, sensational ball. Adam Lallana using all his experience as well. He knows he doesn't have to find that killer through ball. Just draw the foul, eat the time up again. It's a great position. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the free kick.
Jurgen Klopp has used his squad extremely well over the last few weeks. Keita was barely seen until late autumn. He's contributed with important goals. Lallana had the equaliser at Old Trafford. Origi got a couple against Everton in the Merseyside derby. Every time he's introduced somebody, Klopp, it's paid off.
Now, I think Shaqiri as well, who came into the fold as well. Not played in a long time. First start against Everton, makes an impact. Like you say, Steve, that's what you need from your squad.
Now, Diego Alves in the Flamengo goal, trying to get his angles right. Alexander-Arnold saying Rafinha's not far enough away. Rafinha is made to move back. Henderson over this as well. This goes in. Liverpool are almost there. Alexander-Arnold, good save, Diego Alves. Though he'd have been disappointed not to save it. Felipe Luis to Diego. Pablo Mari to Rodrigo Caio. Rafinha. Vitinho. Rafinha. Pablo Mari. Clever Mane.
It's the free kick from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Always difficult to try and beat the goalkeeper on the side that he's at, opposite side to the wall. Comfortable save for Diego Alves.
James Milner. Looked like handball by Felipe Luis. It's just occurred to me that earlier I said I couldn't think of a trophy Liverpool haven't won. Well, there is a rather obvious one, of course. They might put that right this season as well. Alexander-Arnold forward to Origi. Do you think I've got away with that one on social media, Stephen?
Absolutely not.
Nor do I. Here's Origi.
I can't believe you got away with it in front of me.
Origi square, cut out by Diego. Trent Alexander-Arnold with this throw-in for Liverpool, edging ever closer. Mohamed Salah has won himself a corner, and those Flamengo chins just drop a millimetre or two further onto their chests. Liverpool's corner. James Milner, seeing if he can't win another one. Gabriel Barbosa back to Felipe Luis. Henderson, Alexander-Arnold. Seen behind by William Arao. Rafinha. Little Diego now. Willian Arau. Searching ball, Bruno Henrique is off after it, he's quick and he's reached it, he's done really well. He's running at Alexander-Arnold. Here's Diego. There was Lallana. Now Salah. Liverpool might break. Origi, Salah. Blocked by Rodrigo Caio. Here's Lallana. To Milner. Pablo Murray did well to get himself back in front of Divock Origi. That's 2 minutes of normal time in extra time. Alexander-Arnold. Milner. Salah. Can he play Mane in? Looked offside, Mane, and the flag has gone up. Referee will say, carry on. Rafinha for Flamengo. Felipe Luis. Diego. Vitinho, nicely done. Here's Lincoln, the substitute. Vitinho, square ball cut out. Vitinho again! Oh, and Lincoln over the bar. That was the chance. It fell to the youngster, and he snatched it. Really was a chance too. It's been a first real passage of play that Flamengo have put together. Van Dijk just doesn't get the right connection on it, and it falls to Lincoln. He's leaning back. He's not quite got himself set to get the shot away. He should do better. Liverpool gets away with that one. Both coaches are wanting to make the fourth substitution that they're allowed in extra time. Orlando Berrio wants to come on. Willian Arau is going off for Flamengo. He makes way. Orlando Berrio comes on for literally seconds. Xherdan Shaqiri will be on for Liverpool. And it's Mohamed Salah coming off. Slowly makes his way to the touchline. Xherdan Shaqiri is coming on, and the fourth official has held up 2 minutes on his board. Your graphic at the top of your screen says 1, but I can tell you that he's held up 2. Trust me, it'll be 2. They've just changed it. Alisson away. Mane's header. Rafinha. Felipe Luis. Diego. Rodrigo Caio goes long. What else can he do? Rafinha heads it square. Van Dijk's there for Liverpool. Robertson forward. Rodrigo Caio again. Pablo Mari. Felipe Luis. Diego. Robertson's header. Lallana for Liverpool. Misunderstanding with Mane. Rafinha. Diego. Felipe Luis. Vitinho. Bruno Henrique. Bruno Henrique's cross. Gomez with the header. Felipe Luis almost took it away from Vitinho. Gomez with another header. Shaqiri with the lump downfield. And at the fourth time of asking, Liverpool are world champions. Beaten in 1981. Beaten in 1984. Beaten in 2005. excellent sides have put on a real show, but Liverpool have the cup. Liverpool have won FIFA's Club World Cup. Liverpool 1, Flamengo 0.
Thanks, Steve, and welcome back to the Etihad Stadium, where we're just watching pictures of this magnificent picture. Well done to Liverpool. What a performance by them. Bobby Firmino's goal in the first half of extra time has given them the trophy, and at the fourth time of asking, as Steve Wilson said, winners up in 81, 84, 2005, and now in 2019 they take the World Cup back home. It's coming back home. Well, at least one English side's won something. We're just waiting for the presentation, then we'll head back to Steve Wilson in Doha for that, and then we'll have all the scorelines as we'll catch up on all the football news. Just to remind you that Everton have got a new manager. Carlo Ancelotti's their new manager. He was unveiled at Goodison Park this morning and watched the 0-0 draw with Arsenal, and also Mikel Arteta has left Manchester City to be the new manager of Arsenal, and he was also at Goodison Park this afternoon as well. And of course, Martin Peters, on a sad note, as I mentioned during the half-time in the Bullets here at the Etihad, has lost a fight with illness and died aged 76. But what an act for Liverpool. I'm sure Martin would be the first to congratulate them. The gentleman he was. He never played for Liverpool, but he always respected them as a football club. And at the fourth time of asking, they've become champions of the world, beating Flamengo of Brazil by a goal to nil. This was the goal. Let me remind you how that came about. It was Jordan Henderson, long ball over the top on the left-hand side. It was missed, and Marnie was onto it. Marnie turned back inside. Bobby Firmino had about 2 or 3 bites there, and then managed to twist and turn past the goalkeeper, gets himself the shot off, and hit it right-footed into the empty net and into the back of the net. It was a really good goal to do it. Turn, twisted and turned, and then got the shot off, and it was a marvellous goal. And Bobby Firmino, a really remarkable skill by a Brazilian, incidentally, that's just sunk a Brazilian club. How are your ironies? He did get booked, as Steve Wilson confirmed, for his celebration, but I suppose when you score a goal like that, you're entitled to feel a little bit of happiness as the teams now shake hands as they prepare the presentation party over there in Doha. There were chances at the end. Lincoln had the chance right at the end. There was about a couple of minutes from the end here. Some lovely build-up play on the right, and then as the cross comes in, Lincoln from no more than about 7 or 8 yards out got to touch on it. Van Dijk's clearance wasn't the best, and then the ball came back across from the right a second time, and Lincoln with his right foot just couldn't keep it down. And as it turns out, that Liverpool are the champions. So world champions, they've won 3 trophies in a calendar year, Liverpool, which is an absolutely fantastic achievement for them, considering they can't win the League Cup, of course. The under-23s were badly beaten, of course, in midweek by Arsenal. But look at the match stats, 1-0. Liverpool had last possession. Flamengo had 53%. Liverpool had 18 attempts to Flamengo's 5. That's during the whole 120. On target, Liverpool had 6. Flamengo had 3. Corners 5 for Liverpool. Flamengo 7. 4 bookings for Liverpool. Marley, Salah, Firmino and Milner. Flamengo, Coutinho and Diego were booked. And that was about it as regards to stats. But the one stat that matters is after extra time over in Doha, Liverpool have beaten Flamengo. And that is the bottom line. And a big well done to Jurgen Klopp's men. And what a nice little early Christmas present for all the Liverpool fans and for the club as well. World champions. Flamengo disappointed, distraught. There's obvious disappointment there, but their fans sported in defeat all the way to the last, and that's good to see. And it's good to see that the Flamengo players, even in defeat, go up to their fans and thank them for their support. And it's always good to see here. The Etihad, as I can tell you, is now empty here in Manchester. We're just waiting to head back to Doha and to Steve Wilson for the to the BBC Steve Wilson for the commentary of the presentation. But what I can tell you is that Liverpool have won the won the trophy, and they've won it for the very first time. I thought, judging, I've only seen the extra time. They were very unlucky not to win it in the 90 minutes, actually. But mind you, it was a good job it went to extra time, because we were able to bring you it live here on this YouTube channel, albeit through the BBC. So thank you so we thank them for covering the game. And I think we're going to go over now to Doha and to Steve. No, we're going to hear from Jordan Henderson. Well, they're just doing interviews in the strike. Let's hear from the winning captain, Jordan Henderson, out there.
We kept going. Good performance. Mentality again shone through. Should have probably scored a couple more. Defended really well. So overall, yeah, delighted with a result. You know, with the performance. Difficult conditions. But fair play to the lads that kept going right until the end and got the goal in extra time.
That's just it. You always seem to find a way right now.
Yeah, that's important, you know. We've found a way over the last, long time now. Some late goals. But we just want to keep going on to the next game, on to the next performance, keep improving, keep our feet on the ground, keep working hard, and keep putting in performances like that.
Well, there you have it. We've run out of time.
Well, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get the presentation, I'm afraid. But what we can watch the presentation. We can actually watch the presentation. There is a match of the day later on, of course. But we're going to stay with you for the presentation of the trophy. One thing I can guarantee is that Liverpool are champions of the world. It's been a remarkable achievement for them, and I have to tell you that I think it's been great for British football tonight and for the European scene as well, because Liverpool have really produced it not just for English. Well, we're not going to bring you that presentation, unfortunately. We've got one or two technical issues with the BBC. Unfortunately, we've hopefully we can bring you some the rerun. So I don't think we're going to do that. So we won't be able to bring you the presentation, I'm afraid. But Liverpool, the champions of the world. Right, anyway, let's not worry about that. I'm sure Liverpool will be absolutely delighted about that. So let's not worry about that for now. Let's go to the classifieds. Let's have a check on all today's scorelines across England, Scotland, Wales, and of course England, Scotland, and of course let's in fact start with the Club World Cup. Monterrey 2, Hull 2 after extra time. Monterrey win 4-3 on penalties. In the final, Liverpool 1, Flamengo 0. Premier League, Everton 0, Arsenal 0. Aston Villa 1, Southampton 3. AFC Bournemouth 0, Burnley 1. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Sheffield United 1. Newcastle United 1, Crystal Palace 0. Norwich City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. And as you just heard, Manchester City 3, Leicester City 1. We're into the Championship. Cardiff City 0, Preston North End 0. Fulham 2, Leeds United 1. Huddersfield Town 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Hull City 3, Birmingham City 0. Luton Town 0, Swansea City 1. Millwall 1, Barnsley 2. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Charlton Athletic 2. Reading 3, Derby County 0. And West Bromwich Albion 1, Brentford 1. Skybet League 1, Gillingham 3, the Milton Keynes Dons 1. Blackpool 0, Shrewsbury 1. Bolton Wanderers 3, Southend United 2. Bristol Rovers 0, Peterborough United 0. Burton Albion 3, Rochdale 1. Coventry City 1, Lincoln City 0. Doncaster Rovers 1, Accrington Stanley 1. Oxford United 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0. Portsmouth 1, Ipswich Town 0. Rotherham United 2, Fleetwood Town 2. And Tranmere Rovers 1, AFC Wimbledon 0. Sky Bet League 2 now. Grimsby Town 0, Scunthorpe United 1, Bradford City 1, Salford City 1. Cambridge United 2, Leyton Orient 3, Colchester United 3, Carlisle United 0. Exeter City 3, Walsall 3. Forest Green Rovers 2, Swindon Town 2. The game at Moss Rose between Macclesfield and Macclesfield Town and Plymouth Argyle is match postponed. Mansfield 1, Mansfield Town 1, Northampton Town 1. Morecambe 2, Newport County 1. Oldham Athletic 2, Crawley Town 1. Port Vale 1, Cheltenham Town 1. At Stevenage 1, Crewe Alexandra 5. The National League. AFC Fylde 2, Yeovil Town 2. Aldershot Town 2, Stockport County 1. Boreham Wood 2, Harrogate Town 1. Bromley 2, Eastleigh 3. Chorley 1, Dover Athletic 1. The match between Ebbsfleet United and Woking, that's match postponed. Halifax Town 2, Notts County 4. Hartlepool United 1, Dagenham and Ledbridge 0. Maidenhead United 1, Barnet 4. Torquay United 0, Chesterfield 3. And Solihull Moors against Barrow, match postponed. National League North, Alfreton Town 0, Kettering Town 2. Altrincham 1, Kidderminster Harriers 1. The match between Boston and Gateshead is postponed, Waterlog pitch. Brackley Town 3, Curzon Ashton 0. Chester 0, Telford United 0. Farsley Celtic 2, Leamington 1. And the match between Gloucester City and Kings Lynn Town, again postponed, again a waterlogged pitched. Hereford 0, Guiseley 0. Spennymoor 3, Bradford Park Avenue 0. York City 0, Darlington 1. And Blyth Spartans 1, Southport 4. National League South, Billericay Town against Oxford City, that's postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Braintree Town 3, Havant and Waterlooville 3. Chippenham Town 2, Chelmsford City 1. Dartford 0, Concord Rangers 1. Eastbourne Borough 1, Bath City 2. The match between Hampton and Richmond and Slough Town, match postponed. Hemel Hempstead Town 1, Tunbridge Angels 1. Hungerford 1, Dulwich Hamlet 4. Maidstone United 2, Dorking Wanderers 3. The game between Wealdstone and Welling United, that's postponed, again a waterlogged pitch. Weymouth 0, St Albans City 1. Into Scotland now in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1. Hamilton Academicals 2, Heart of Midlothian 1. Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 1. Livingston 4, Ross County 0. And St Johnstone 0, St Mirren 0. Into the Scottish Championship we go. Andover Athletic 0, Greenock Morton 2. Dundee United 4, Ayr United 0. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 2, Dunfermline 0. Partick Thistle 0, Dundee 1. And Quid of the South 2, Arbroath 0. Scottish League 1, Clyde 3, Adrianians 1. Montrose 2, Falkirk 3. Peterhead 1, East Fife 2. Raith Rovers 0, Dumbarton 2. And Stranraer 2, Forfar Athletic 4. Into League 2 now. Albion Rovers 4, Annan Athletic 2. Cowdenbeath 3, Stenhousemuir 1. Elgin City 3, Brechin City 1. Queen's Park 1, Cove Rangers 3. And Stirling Albion 0, Edinburgh City 1. The Highland League. Deborah Vale 3, Fort Martin United 0. Fords Mechanics 0, Innovating Local Works 4. Fraserburgh 3, Bucky Thistle 2. Keith 4, Fort William 0. Lossiemouth 0, Bora Rangers 8. Nairn County 0, Robs 2. Trafford Spray Thistle 2. Turriff United 4. And Wick Academy 1, Cladacudin 1. The Lowland League. Civil Service Strollers against Berwick Rangers, match postponed. That's a waterlogged pitch. Vale of Leven 1, Edinburgh University 1. Bonnyrigg Rose 5, Cumbernauld Colts 1. Caledonian Braves 0, East Kilbride 2. Dalbeattie Star 0, University of Stirling 1. East Stirlingshire 0, BSC Glasgow 1. Gretna 2008 1, Kelty Hearts 3. And the Spartans 4, Garlack Fairydean 0. The Scottish Welsh, now we're into the Welsh Premier Division. Airbus UK Broughton 1, Kevin Durrett's 1. Carnarvon 0, Carmarthen 0, Carnarvon 1. And Pennybont 0, Newtown 2. Irish Premiership, the Danske Bank. Carrick Rangers 0, Glentoran 1. Cliftonville 1, Coleraine 0. Dungannon Swifts 2, Institute 2. Linfield 1, Crusaders 1. And Warren Point 0, Larne 2. And that brings you up to date with England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland's fixtures. So let's try and get a little bit of reaction from tonight's matches. We're going to try and start from a Burnley viewpoint as well. They won 1-0 at Bournemouth today. Let's see if we've got any reaction to this. It's been a long way. It's been a long time. We've been at it now for nearly 3 hours. So let's see if we get any reaction. Hopefully from today's live match as well. 3-1 to Manchester City in our featured match this afternoon, and then of course we saw that magnificent performance from Liverpool as well. There's been all sorts of problems with Robbie Lyle as well. Let's see if we can get a reaction. We haven't got any reaction from any of the 3 o'clockers, so I do apologise for that, but hopefully you'll hear that later on Match of the Day. But let's check in on Kevin De Bruyne, who gave an injury update. Let's see what he had to say after a 3-1 win for Manchester City.
Hey, do you have any league options at all? Yeah, I've got twice a beef burger with onion bread.
Oh, we're just waiting for a second. We won't be a second here. We're just waiting for an advert to come. And yeah. Right, let's go. Right, let's hear from Kevin De Bruyne and Riyad Mahrez.
Fans heart attack to the end there when we went down. Are you okay?
Yeah, just a little bit of cramps. You know, it was a hard game, very open. 2 teams who went all the way, and yeah, in the end, my body said just take a rest. The grass was nice and soft.
Was that one of the better City performances of the season?
I think defensively, yes. I think there was from the beginning a lot of pressure on the ball. I don't think we let Leicester play a lot. I think they lost a lot of balls, especially in the first half. And obviously they come 1-0 ahead, but I think it's almost the only chance they had in the game. And I think afterwards we had a couple of good chances, and then Riyad obviously changed the game for us. So that was really important, and also to score the 2-1 before the halftime was an important moment in the game.
Riyad, gave your old team nightmares. Did you enjoy playing against Leicester?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a bit strange at the beginning, but you know, I think we played very good. They scored in our best moment, and we managed to come back and we make the difference before the halftime. I think in the first half we played very good. Second half it was more. We kept the ball and we had to score the third one, and we're happy with the win.
Did you play very good too? Was that one of your best games in a City shirt?
I don't know if it's one of my best games, but you know, all the time when the manager starts me, I try to give my best. Today as well, and I'm happy to have scored and to help the team to win.
Kevin, it was almost like you two were a bit of a partnership today, giving Ben Chilwell a real headache. He didn't know which one to go close to.
Yeah, but I think we already played a lot of times together, and I think especially this season we're playing really well together. Last season was difficult because I was a lot of time out of, and it was difficult for me to always find my rhythm, but I think the moments we always played together was really well, and we know how to find each other. And also I know when I can leave him 1-against-1, because obviously 1-against-1 Riyad is one of the most dangerous wingers in the league, and that's how he scored the 1-1.
Tell us about your role today. At times, almost like you were playing up top as a 2.
No, that's just defensively. I think this is the way we defended the whole season. Sometimes I'm more in the middle where Bernardo played, and today I was more up top. Maybe the manager wanted to bring my energy a little bit more in front, and that's what I did. And I think the partnership with Gabi defensively went really well.
Riyad, has it been an emotional week losing Mikel Arteta?
Yeah, it was difficult because obviously Mikel was an important staff in the club as well. He helped us. He helped everyone, and he was a bit emotional, but you know, it's life. He had to take his chance, and we're happy for him.
Guys, well played. Kevin De Bruyne, man of the match. Riyad, would you hand it over?
Yeah, give it to him.
Kevin De Bruyne got the actual man of the match in our match, and but it's Riyad Mahrez who got our man of the match because we had a draw in the bottom between him and Ben Chilwell, but I had the casting vote during commentary and decided to go with Riyad Mahrez. So that's a bit ironic. The JB man in the match handing over the actual man in the match to Kevin De Bruyne. Anyway, thank you very much for your patience for 3 hours. It's a good job we transferred to Doha for that extra time commentary because we got a great reward. Bobby Firmino scoring the winning goal to win Liverpool the World Cup Championships. Big well done to Liverpool. 3 trophies in a calendar year for them. Can they win another 3 more next year? They've got the FA Cup, the Champions League and the Premier League to go to. They're still 10 points clear of Leicester. They went to Manchester City in our featured game. They lost 3-1. And now City are 1 point behind Leicester and now 11 points behind Liverpool in the race for the title. I think this might go down to the wire. One more thing I need to tell everyone before I leave. This is the last live broadcast from me until Christmas. You will see FIFA 20 ITV reboots of the match for FIFA 20. They will be uploaded quite daily at the moment. We'll be uploading another one a bit later on for you. But I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who subscribed and listened along to the commentaries in the last 12 months. Of course, if you want to watch my Christmas message about what we've got coming up next year, you can do. Go out, check out my channel. If you have enjoyed today's game and you enjoy any of our videos that we make on the JB Claret YouTube channel, whether that's with myself, Russ Vernon, Chris Whiteman and Mike Carneyman and several others, and the moderators, of course, New Caton, Absolutely Anonymous and Panini, our VAR man, we all like to wish you, the JB Claret team, we all like to wish you a very Merry Christmas, all you subscribers and listeners and watchers out there, a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have a lovely day come the 25th of December. We'll be back after Christmas for some more live commentaries. Until then, from me, have a fantastic Christmas. Season's greetings to you all. From me, JB, have a fantastic Christmas and a great, great day as well. Alright, all the best. Good night.